Welcome, listeners, to the first ever Dungeons and Dagons special audio-only episode. Tonight and tomorrow, we are playing No Man's Land for Call of Cthulhu. This scenario originally premiered as a tournament scenario in the Cthulhu Masters Tournament of 1998. But tonight, we run through it as friends, as soldiers, and as souls who are doomed. Before I begin, I shall introduce the players and the characters. First, we have Sabaton Liam playing...
Private Boredom, man. We're just coming straight from the war, and God, it's all fucked, man. We're all gonna die.
We have M1 playing...
G'day, I'm Point Man today, and again, it's M1. I'm the man that goes into situations first because, sometimes you need a bit of faith. That's where I come in.
M2 playing...
Hello, I'm playing Private Rico Kowalski. Just happy to be here and hoping really, really badly not to die. Just ignore the red shirt under my uniform. I also play the medic because somebody has to put people back together again.
Boy, think of the stories you're going to tell your girl when you get back
Oh,
home.
absolutely. Can't wait to get home.
Why is my arm on my chest?
Don't worry about it.
And last but not least, we have Trav playing...
The engineer, Private Broomstick.
Private Broomstick.
Broomstick.
Very well.
This is our boomstick.
So,
Wow.
That was actually
Dear God,
That was beautiful.
that was beautiful and capital.
I love the fact that he's just known as Point Man. There is no name to
Yeah,
him. He is
he's
just
M1, the point man.
He's just the Point Man.
I believe I missed a man. Points.
Hi, I'm Point Man.
Who are you?
And so begins part 1, The Fog of War. The year is 1918. For 4 years, Europe has been locked in the throes of the Great War, the most devastating conflict in history. Technical innovations in artillery, air power, chemical warfare, and automatic weapons changed the face of battle. When industrial mass production, universal conscription, and staunch adherence to Napoleonic-era military doctrine are mixed together, they created the Western Front, a hell on earth where literally millions of soldiers have fed the war's hunger for blood. The Allied and Central Powers are currently locked in a stalemate in northeastern France, both sides having long since floundered in a quagmire of trench warfare. The armies of Europe loom on the brink of collapse. A new force has come, however, which will at long last break the deadlock, exhaust the German war machine, and end the war. The Americans have arrived.
Fuck yeah!
In
Aussie!
What? No. Do my thing.
In early September, General John J. Blackjack Pershing's army had scored a resounding success in southern France at Saint-Mihiel, and Pershing hoped to follow it up with a daring offensive into the Argonne Forest. The last great American offensive of the war, the Argonne Offensive, began on September 26th. The 77th Infantry Division was ordered into the Argonne, where it immediately took heavy losses and stalled, gaining over only 5 miles in 6 days of heavy fighting. On October 2nd, Pershing, worried that a stalled drive might cause the French to split up the American army, ordered the 77th, pinned down and exhausted by its push into the Argonne, to advance, even though their left flank was no longer secure.
Thanks.
The division moved out, and 2 of its battalions, commanded by Major Charles Whittlesey and Captain George McMurdy, found a place in history as the famous Lost Battalion. This is the story of the Lost Battalion. Of the 600 or so men that Whittlesey led into the forest, only 190 limped out on October 7th. All of you players are part of this luckless outfit, sent out in search of 2 missing companies, only to go missing yourselves, lost in enemy territory. The enemy, however, the least of your troubles. October 2nd, 1918. Our scenario begins at dusk, into grim grey skies, as Your 2 battalions try to dig in, and German artillery bombardment begins. Your squad sits hunched together, shoulder to shoulder in a shallow makeshift foxhole, shivering from the damp chill. All of you are exhausted and have been plagued all day by dizzy spells and tremendous headaches. Around you, the men of the 1st and 2nd Battalions, 308th Infantry Regiment, known as the Devil Dogs, scurry about like frightened ants, little pockets of men, each trying to dig in through the rocky ground. The units occupy a shallow valley, about 3 miles long, 300 yards wide, through which flows a feeble stream. The area is relatively clear, hillocks crowned with few sparse trees. On all sides, the thick trees of the Argonne forest form a blurry, impenetrable horizon. As the last of the sunlight fades away, the colour seems to ebb out of everything. The rough, uneven ground becomes a flat, hazy mass of black mud and grey stone. The soldiers around you transform into grey and white phantoms, flickering in and out of the encroaching shadows like figures in a newsreel. A gentle mist of chilling rain falls as you huddle together, watching the mist of your breath, trying to work the soreness out of your aching muscles. A few yards away, a kerosene lantern sputters to life along the roots of a tree. In its warm, golden glow, you see the long, sombre face of Major Whittlesey, your commander. His bespectacled eyes flashing with every nod and turn of head to Captain McMurdy, his second. 2 offers are talking to Lieutenant Wilhelm, your platoon leader, and gesturing to a map spread out on the ground. Just then, the din of shouts and scraping shovels is smashed by a deafening thunderclap. The ground beneath you shudders, and the flash of the explosion brings colour back to the world for an instant. Another shell slams home, and another, each leaving frozen images of the skeletal trees and terrified soldiers in its wake. "Artillery," murmurs Maddox, your squad sergeant. "Wonderful. And here we are. We can't even dig in properly because we've got no proper tools. This is madness." The other soldiers of your squad speak up at this point, bemoaning the battalion's condition. Weren't the French supposed to be holding down the left flank? What about the lack of food and the numbing cold? How the hell did those Hun bastards manage to get artillery this deep into the forest? Old witless Whittlesey sure has put his foot in it this time. At this point, sleet begins to fall, pinging on your helmets, chilling you even more. Suddenly, a shell hits close by, and a screaming soldier flies into the air, landing in the foxhole in a shower of blood and unidentifiable bits. It was like you each to make a luck roll.
That's a pass for me. That's
I fail.
11.
I failed right off the bat.
Oh no, what do you get?
Very well.
Just go and check the body. He didn't make it.
78.
You failed.
Okay.
Failed.
So as the legless corpse flies into the foxhole, those of you who pass the luck roll will lose 1 sanity.
Yeah.
Those of you who failed must now make a san check, please.
That's a D20, isn't it?
No, that's
D-
another.
It's a D100. Try to roll under your san.
Oh, thank God, that's a 9. I'm good.
Very well.
31.
If you passed, you lose 1 san. If you failed, you lose 1d3. As you realise you are suddenly splattered with hot blood and steaming bits of flesh.
If it lands on 4, just count it as a 3. Oh, 1, nice.
What is your reaction to having this unfortunate soldier's entrails splattered all over the front of your bodies?
Oh god, man. Oh god. I don't think I can take it anymore. It's game over, man. It's game over.
Travel the world, see new things, meet new and interesting people, and then get them rained down upon you.
As a point man, I'll just point.
Point at the body.
Whoa!
I don't
Don't
say
think
anything.
it's safe out there.
Yeah, just that. Get some egg, just put the fingers in one of the
What?
and go, he didn't
And
make
when
it.
you put your hand in a pile of goo, that was your best friend's face.
As the squad struggles to dispose of the corpse, the barrage of shelling intensifies. Burning trees now cast a hellish light over the dismal landscape as men scramble for whatever meager cover they can find. Lieutenant Wilhelm crawls back over to your group. "Alright, listen!" he shouts over the bombardment. "A patrol confirmed the enemy is behind us and in force. We're cut off! Everyone's faces darken. Sometime during the advance this morning, we lost track of companies B and D. The Major's sending us out with the 3rd and 4th platoons to search for them. Are you crazy? Maddox bellows. We're surrounded, cut off, it's dark, and you expect us to go poking around out there? You want to stay here? Wilhelm snaps, and as if on cue, a shell explodes way too close to your foxhole, raining a hail of mud down on you. No one else speaks. Come on, move out, Maddox yells. Anything beats this. Move out!
Come on, guys. I don't know if I can do this. I really don't know, man. How are we gonna get out of here?
Hey, get it together, man. This
Yeah.
sucks for
No.
everyone.
You quickly find the other 2 platoons and head to the edge of the valley. On the way, more shells fall with the freezing rain, and men huddle into the smoking craters, the only decent shelter around. I'd like everyone to make a dex check, please.
Oh boy.
I think I dropped it.
Ooh, that's a crit. I got 1.
Ooh, good. You may push it if you like.
Thank you.
No, why would I push that?
No, me.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
you
you
may
push
push
it.
it.
72.
Oh, yes, that is a hard pass. That's a
Pass,
17.
that's a 72, so that's a failure for our point man, unless he'd like to...
Oh, it's under.
Oh, it's under, yeah, his dex is 80, so...
That makes sense.
And so...
I beautifully
how
leave
did you...
27.
27, okay, so you...
You realize we're in a war, right?
Yeah.
You don't beautifully leave. Maybe scramble for the field.
Majestically leave.
You all pass.
You end up losing 1.
Yep. You all pass,
there's a
dipping
tracer back there.
in and around the shells and tracer fire that light the air around you as trees begin to light up, set alight by the shells. I'd like everyone to roll a D100, please.
95.
57.
Oh, 20.
Okay, Rico Kowalski. Suddenly, as you're running across the creek bed, trying to stay alongside your companions, you stub your left toe on something, you trip, you fall face first into the creek.
Come on, man, get up.
You take 1 point of damage. And as the others rush over to help you to your feet, you notice what you tripped on. The offending stone is dull, black and worn, the angular corner of what appears to be a much larger buried stone. I would like Liam and M2 to please make spot hidden checks.
May I push that?
Yes, you can.
Same.
Yeah. Oh, that is a hard pass. That's
I'm glad
19.
you spotted it because I didn't.
As you help Rico up, you look at the stone that he tripped over, and you notice faint spiral-shaped patterns etched into it in some sort of black substance. You've never seen this symbol before, and I don't think you have... Does anyone have history or archaeology?
I have a call.
I got history. I have very small
Archaeology.
amount of history, but
Alright, let's let Trav go ahead and roll it.
that's mine.
What'd you get?
82.
I got an 18, so I passed.
Ah, you
mine.
passed.
Just scraped.
As you look at the rock and straighten yourself, getting ready to continue your run, the markings and the edges of the rock vaguely remind you of marks found in megaliths in tombs and stone circles throughout the British Isles. However, no megaliths have ever been reported in this part of France. Before you have a chance to look further, Sergeant Maddox bellows, "Come on! Come on! What are you doing just standing there?"
Come on, Kowalski, get up, man. We gotta go.
Alright.
Your group of 50-odd soldiers at last comes to the edge of the valley. Where you find a group of 3 soldiers stringing barbed wire around the perimeter. You stop and salute Wilhelm, who tells your group your mission. The engineers part the wire with poles, letting your unit crawl under. As you pass, you hear one of the 3 engineers murmur, "Poor bastards, won't wait up for them." Beyond lie the foreboding depths of the Argonne.
Gee, thanks for the vote of confidence, buddy. See you soon.
Move out into the forest, enveloped in near total darkness. The ground rises and falls in jagged slopes without a path to be seen anywhere. Boulders and tangled undergrowth block the way. Trees loom silently all around, stretching into the cloud-choked sky. The hike is back-breaking, always up and then downhill. More than once, your squad finds itself snared in rusty wire, calling all to a halt until they can be freed. I'd like our engineer to please make a mechanical repair check.
Oh, that's 100.
That's a 100.
Would you like to push that?
Would you like to push
Any
the
Yeah.
roll is going to be better than that.
Yeah, definitely.
That's 18. That's fast better.
Several points you come to sections where stray barbed wire blocks your path, old tank traps and other bits of debris. However, thankfully, your engineer is able to quickly cut through them, clearing the path for your squad, allowing you to make quick progress through the forest and put a lot of distance between yourselves and shelling. Stragglers and point men simply vanish into the fog, diverting everyone's efforts into looking for them. Everyone's scared to make the slightest sound, much less shout. The night grows colder as you go. Faint impressions of movement haunt the corners of each of your vision. Every boulder becomes a machine gun nest, and every tree a stump, a German laying in wait. After what seems like an eternity, Sergeant Maddox halts the squad, gesturing to something on the ground. You crowd in, anxious to see. There, in a patch of mud, are a large group of footprints heading off to the right. They pass through a tangle of wire, which Maddox points out has been cut. This must be them, he whispers. Wait, says another soldier. I think they're ours. Murmurs rise as the members of your platoon begin arguing over whose tracks they are. Go ahead and make a tracking roll if you'd like.
I was going to say, could I make a survival roll? Or does it have to be specific?
We can roll. We'll see how the tracking goes first.
That's a pass.
That's a pass.
13.
Okay. Our point man pushes through the crowd and examines the tracks, and you quickly recognize them as your squad's own, meaning
Points
you've
at-
been traveling in circles in the darkness.
Oh God.
You let the argument play out for a few moments before you inform Maddox of your findings. Alright, damn it, he says. Simmons, signal 3rd platoon. Simmons crawls over and shouts in a stage whisper. 3rd platoon, hey! Silence reigns. The rest of the squad begins to murmur. Are we lost? We're going around in circles? Damn, I can't see anything. We are not lost, Maddox affirms, reaching for his compass. He stares intently at it, holding it scarcely an inch from his eyes. Damn it all, he grumbles, setting down his rifle and fishing out a match. He strikes it against the brim of his helmet, raises it to the compass face, and then BANG! The shot rings out, and the match flame wavers and dies. In the split second of light, you all see a gout of blood where Maddox's face used to be. It takes you a moment to realise that the white specks you saw flying out were his teeth. A loud hiss sounds overhead, and suddenly there is light, blindingly bright from above. The muddy ground, the squad looking around in disarray, and Maddox's still twitching body, all are suddenly all too visible. Only when the second shot rings out does it hit you. You're standing out in the open, in an ambush, the nearest cover yards away. You look up and see the flare gently sinking to the earth, and now you can make out the trench dug into the next ridge, and the Germans taking careful aim at you. More shots now, more screaming. A grenade explodes, jarring you into action. As you raise your weapons, you hear a new noise, one that chills you to the bone, the rattle of a machine gun. What do you do?
Man, we've got to get out of here. Stay low. Stay low, man.
Go for goddamn cover.
I would like each of you to make a sand check, please, with what just happened.
Yeah. That's passed. That's a 4.
That is a fail.
That's a 3. Nice.
Okay. If you failed, you lose 1d3 sand. If you passed, you lose just 1 sand.
Slowly,
1d3, right?
roll 4, just
Additionally,
I thought if we rolled before we counted it as 3.
Oh, that works too.
that'll work too.
And that's a 2.
Additionally, M1,
Oh,
you are paralyzed with fright. I'd like you to roll another 1d. I'd like you to roll a 1d4, please.
But my finger pointing.
I'm just pointing at the enemies going,
71. Well, shit.
Sorry, a 1d4. I want you to roll. Not a
1d4.
1d100. Yes,
then it's
That is a 1.
it is a 1. You open your mouth and begin to scream, dropping to your knees, falling prone with terror. The rest of you, what are your dex values?
50.
50.
60.
Alright, engineer, you get to choose what you'd like to do first. You have a number of options ahead of you. You may try to find cover. You may return fire at the Germans. You may try to simply run away into the darkness. Or perhaps not perhaps not the smartest idea, but certainly the most cinematic. Raise your weapon and charge the enemy trench.
You'll lose every time.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I was gonna say,
Well,
do you have a?
I've got a trench gun. It's
Yeah, I
not
was
gonna
gonna say,
do
you
it
don't have a bayonet
at
for that one.
range.
Yeah.
How close is the nearest cover? And can I drag?
I
Point man with
I
us.
would recommend me getting you dragon. My strength is at 80.
Okay.
That's a good idea.
I'll just duck and cover then.
Alright,
And
you,
cover.
you quickly
And
look
cover.
around and you look and see some scattered rocks and tree stumps. A short sprint away. You'll have to run across the battlefield to get there. I'd like you to make a dex check, please.
50.
50. Lovely. You look, quickly determine a spot that seems to be reasonably safe. A hunched over, gnarled tree trunk. And then you grit your teeth and you run across the battlefield towards it. I'd like you to roll a d20, please.
Oh.
10. You run, you sprint, you feel your right foot step into something soft and squishy. You look down, you've stepped inside the abdomen of a dead soldier, and as you look at him, his mouth opens, he screams.
Oh,
Make
he's
a-
not dead.
Make a send check,
Oh,
please.
Sergeant
Jeez.
Squishy reporting for duty.
Dude, really?
That's a
10.
pass.
Okay, that's a loss of 1 san. Very well.
Wow.
Private Broden, what would you like to do?
So how far is
Cover?
the point man away?
Point man is
I'm
lying.
getting the name.
Just
Oh,
point that.
point man, yeah.
Actually,
Point
have
man.
literally just called
Yeah.
yourself point.
M1's about.
Just
M1's close enough to you could grab him and drag him away. It will put you in a bit of danger.
but I'm paralyzed by fear at this point.
Yeah, you're
So
just
I can't
going,
do it.
ah! But next round, you will not be paralyzed.
Right.
So you can either leave him here, every man for himself, or you can pick him
Kowalski,
up.
cover me while I go get that point man.
Okay.
We need every man we can get.
I would like Kowalski to make a firearms check, please, to fire into the enemy trench.
Nope, that's not gonna hit.
You raise your gun.
So it was just more cover.
Yeah. You raise your gun and you fire, but you can tell you're way off and your bullet sails uselessly over the trench. It's not very good covering fire. Broden, I'd like you to first of all make a strength check to grab Point Man.
That is a normal pass of 62.
Hoist him up, grab him as he struggles and pull him over your shoulder, saying, "Get over yourself, man!" Make a hard dex check.
God.
Oh,
That's
that's a 15. That's a
Yes. You see a large grey boulder about 10 meters away, and making sure Point Man is firmly slung over your shoulder, you grit your teeth and run for it. Roll a d20 for me, please. 17. That's 17. You run across the field behind another soldier who's dashing for the same patch of cover at you. Suddenly, the man in front of you straightens as a bullet tears through his chest. Another soldier steps down to help him off his feet, and then his chest explodes in a spray of red, covering you in red mist and entrails. Make a sand check, please.
Oh, gee, that sounds...
That is a part. No,
No,
fail.
fail.
Sorry.
That is a loss of 1d3 sand.
Oh, that's a 3.
That's bad.
Okay, Rico, what would you like to do?
So he's dragging him off. He's gone to find cover.
Yep, and you've just taken a shot at the trench and missed.
Yep. So I'm gonna take this turn to book it to cover.
Book it to cover as well.
I can see if I can go near the engineer.
Yep.
Maybe see if I can deal with the guy who you've currently got your foot in.
Yeah, that's a
Please
good
do.
idea. You look around. I'd like you to make a spot hidden check, please.
Ooh.
To see if you could catch sight of where the engineer has run in this chaos.
Nope. I don't see anything. It's just goddamn chaos everywhere.
Alright, it's gonna have to be luck then. Go ahead and make a dex check.
Oh, bloody hell. I'm gonna try to push that. This is...
Yep, go ahead.
Oh, thank God. That's a hard pass.
Hard pass. You look around, trying to catch sight of the engineer. You cannot see him in this chaos. And so, you pick the nearest thick tree trunk and run towards it. Roll a d20 for me, please.
Oh, boy. Oh, it's a 17.
Oh no.
17. Well, we've already had that event, so I have to
Wanna
move
go
on
again?
to the
No, I
next
can-
one.
Do
Nope.
you want him to roll again?
No. Oh yeah, go ahead, roll again.
16 this time.
Ooh.
16.
There you go, literally.
As you run towards the tree trunk, a shell lands about 2 meters in front of you. It explodes,
No.
knocking you off your feet, and you take 1 point of damage.
Yay!
Another soldier running past leans over to help you up. He holds out his hand. Do you take it?
Yeah.
You reach out and take his hand. He groans as he hoists you to your feet, and then bang! His head pops like a watermelon in front of you. Make a
God.
sand check, please.
Oh.
Your job as a medic's overrated. You're not gonna help anyone.
Pass.
Everyone's gonna die.
That's a pass. That's one sand loss.
Again, slowly whittling
Oh
around.
yeah, that was nasty.
You manage to hide behind cover. You all look around onto the battlefield where hell reigns on Earth, and you realize that your platoon is losing. They're going to be mopped up very soon, and then no amount of cover will save you. But just as all looks hopeless, you hear shouting, "Charge! Let's smother 'em, boys!" You look, and the hill opposite the trench. Your hearts light up in relief as you see the 2 missing platoons come running over a ridge, charging down onto the battlefield.
Look, they're here! They're here!
They charge, shouting their battle cries and firing at the trench. Okay, Point Man, you have the highest dex. You are no longer terrified. What would you like to do? Would you like to remain where you are, or maybe try to join the offensive?
Oh, my boys, what do we want to do?
I'm not made for offense. That's on you, man. I'm just here to try and patch up the ones that didn't immediately explode.
Because at the moment, the Germans, their reaction is to look instinctively towards this rally cry.
Yeah, the guys that
So,
are charging at them.
Can I ready my 30-06 rifle
Yep.
and take aim at the bunker?
Yes, you can. Provide some covering fire. Go ahead, make a firearms check.
My batang. 80,
Yeah.
don't-
Raise your gun and bang! Fire into the chaos. You don't think you hit anything, but you hope it helps. Okay, engineer, what would you like to do? You can join the offensive, you could stay here and hope you don't get hit by a stray bullet, or the darkness on the edge of the battlefield seems to beckon to you. The tree line is not far. If you wanted to desert, perhaps this is the time.
First of all, I want to remove my foot out of this poor soldier.
Yeah, out of this.
Ah, thank you. Would not mind, thank you. This is
I
what
believe this is yours.
Oh,
How
that's...
far away is the bunker, and is there any cover that I can
Bunker
get
is
through?
the bunker's about 20 to 30 feet in front of you. I'd like you to make a spot hidden check, please.
Wait. We could have just charged him the whole time.
You could have. It probably wouldn't have been smart.
Yeah. Because they have a machine gun.
14.
You notice several spots of cover scattered between where you are and the bunker. It might be possible to duck and weave between the cover, maybe get off a couple of shots. It's not going to be 100% safe, but of course nothing is going to be. What would you like to do?
I might just duck and weave and try to make it to the first bit of cover because having a shotgun isn't going to do much at
No.
range.
Very well. I'd like you to make a dex check, please.
Ooh, 71. Can
Would you like to push that? Yeah, go ahead.
Don't land to someone else's abdomen. A field of
Oh,
abdomens.
nice.
away.
16.
16. Rush forwards, ducking, keeping your head low, holding your helmet tight to your head with your right hand. You move up to a closer bit of cover, close enough now that you might be able to get a shot off on the bunker. Go ahead and make a firearms check.
28.
Raise your shotgun, poke out from behind the boulder, and bang! You see the head of a German explode in a shower of red.
Do it again,
This
do it
will
again.
buy precious seconds for the other men. Private Broden, it is your turn. What would you like to do?
Right. I need to help everyone out. Charge! Fire! Bridget, cover and fire now!
Alright, so you're going to charge the trench
Oh,
line.
no. Covering fire.
Covering fire. Okay, make a firearms check.
Oh shit, we're gonna fly
That is a 12. That's a critical.
You aim your rifle towards the trench. You fire. You see your bullet slam into the neck of a German soldier. Blood sprays out as he falls back down into the trench, buying precious seconds.
Come on, boys, we can do this!
Rico, it is your turn.
Well, everyone else is running off. Might as well go after him.
Alright,
into another abdomen. Where are these abdomens coming from?
so you're going to join the offensive and charge after them. Raise your gun. Make a firearms check with advantage because you're joining the offensive.
Let me get something. Oh, that's actually a hard pass.
Oh, nice.
Okay,
Thank you for the advantage.
run.
I needed that.
Following the rest of the platoon towards the trench, you raise your gun and you shout, "Ah!" Bang! You fire. Your bullet slams into the ear of a German, splattering his head.
Sorry, what?
across the
I didn't
back
hear
of
that
the
coming.
trench.
Hippocratic oath doesn't
Splatter.
mean shit here.
Make a luck check, please.
Oh, yay. Oh, that's a 1. Yay.
As you silently shout in victory, you hear a whistle and a shell explodes about 5 meters to your right, sending a group of soldiers flying, suddenly turned into red mist. You take this as your hint to throw yourself to the ground prone.
Don't cover.
Hit the dirt. Luckily did not sustain any
Oh,
damage.
thank God.
Suddenly, you all feel a strange tingling sensation, and your hair begins to stand on end. You continue your offensive, and as you take aim at the enemies, you notice that puzzled looks from your opponents indicate that the Germans feel it too. "Get them! Finish them off!" shouts Wilhelm, and you charge, raising your weapons and shouting triumphant as you rush towards the trench. Suddenly, bayonets fixed! Suddenly, strange, glowing whirls of light appear out of the darkness, and a low, almost subsonic hum can be heard over the gunfire and explosions. As you run towards the trench, your ears suddenly pop, and all goes white as the scene around you is consumed in a blinding flash A shockwave hits you like a sledgehammer. You feel a rushing wind whip around you. You have a brief impression of flying through the air, hear a sound like a distant peal of thunder, and then the world clicks from white to black. I'd like each of you to take 2 points of damage.
No.
Why?
Medic. Someone get the medic.
You
Oh,
are the
wait.
medic.
Shit.
Oh,
The Sam, hell is this?
As you open your eyes, waves of pain course through your body. You're surprised to see that the sky overhead is bright, the blinding disk of the sun visible behind thin clouds. It's day again. Just how long have you been laying here? You try to move, and your stiff, aching joints give you a hint. Your clothes, strangely enough, are dry, but your fingers are numb from the cold. You sit up and gasp at the sight that greets you. The ridge you were fighting over what seems like mere moments ago is gone, replaced by what might as well be the surface of the moon. Heaps of churned earth rise all around, and you can see the trees have all toppled, are stripped of their bark and snapped like matchsticks. Beyond the tangle of tree wreckage, the Argonne forest waits, dark and eerily silent. The dark brown soil has turned to an ashen grey. You notice right away that despite the sleet and weeks of rain, there seems to be no moisture. The only water stands in stagnant pools, green and slightly steaming. You notice your comrades stirring beside you. Then you see the bodies, or rather, the pieces of bodies. You can see a helmet which has melted around the skull of its wearer, and singed bits of uniformed lumps. Atop what's left of the hill, you can see the German trench. The machine gun has melted. The sandbags aren't even singed. What happened here? As you climb to your feet, I'd like each of you to make a power check, please.
That is a normal pass to me, 27.
So maybe 45.
26.
13.
Okay, for those of you who passed, as you climb,
Hard
Yeah,
pass.
we all will.
as you climb to your feet, brush the dust off your uniform.
Did you get that?
Yeah.
Oh, I think that's great.
Your skin begins to sting. You raise your hand and touch it, and you look at each other, and you all have what appear to be bad sunburns, only on exposed areas of skin, the backs of your hands, your necklines, half of your face. You have no idea what caused it, but they ache and sting even now. What would you like to do?
I suggest we go find a high point to go regroup and
There's we're the only people around.
It appears that you are the only people around. You can see no signs of movement, but you may make a spot hidden roll to see if you see anything.
I would like to do that, thank you.
You can give me the like.
May I push that?
Yes, you can.
what's your spot?
Oof, no, that's a fail.
What's your spot?
50.
I'm on 70.
Oh,
Well, that makes sense.
yeah, go ahead and do that.
Man.
Go for it, man.
That is 92.
Oh, would you
Let
like
me-
to push
Yes,
that?
please. That is 38, so that's a pass.
Look around the immediate vicinity point, man. And then you see something. At first looks like a gnarled tree root sticking out of the ash ground. As you draw closer, you see what it really is. It's Lieutenant Wilhelm's 45 pistol, still clutched in his charred hand. You pick up the pistol. It's fully loaded, complete magazine, but it's taken some slight damage, and if you'd like to use it, it will need to be fixed with a mechanical repair roll.
Right here.
So does it have
No, I
the
don't.
handguns? Is it?
But I have a friend. But
I have 30 mechanical
Does
system.
anyone have handgun as a skill here?
yes.
May come in handy in a pinch.
60.
That is a 19, that's a normal pass.
Hand the pistol to Private Broden, who takes a look at it and removes the blockage from inside the gun. Takes aim and fires one shot as a test. Shot rings out through the silent valley. the gun appears to work.
16.
So you now have a second 45 pistol containing a full magazine. However, every time you fire it, it has a 50% chance of malfunctioning.
Yeesh.
That's so.
It's-
sausage.
When it malfunctions, that just means it just breaks.
Just means it won't fire that round and it jams.
It's still something we can use in a pinch.
Very close to that weapon.
So,
Call me.
what else would you like to do?
Can you
There's much
any-
more to examine in this area.
Just
Something's clearly gone wrong.
Are there any features in the landscape that stand out?
You may attempt a survival check.
Hit as
I can
well.
do that.
Alright,
Tell
what
me a 50. I'm gonna line 50 for survival.
I got 10.
I will do. Looks like Rico will do it.
Yay. It's 32, so it's a pass.
Oh
Right.
shit, I have 40. Crap.
Ah.
Oh.
Alright, Rico. You look around and you notice that the trees have all fallen outward in a circle, as if they were blasted from a shockwave sent outwards. The devastated area is apparently a perfect circle, some 50 yards in diameter. The centre of the blast, from what you can tell, appears to have been the German trench.
Maybe what the opposite direction we found the source.
Opposite direction towards the exit.
Yeah, it appears that the source of this explosion was the German trench. That was the source of the blast, from what you can tell.
I'm gonna go closer to where the blast originated to see what happened.
Super slow time.
I think so, but
Just like guns out.
yeah, guns out and I know it's bad for our comrades, but collect the dog tags and take any ammo and
Yeah.
med kits we can find.
Yeah.
And Trav, you're my second point man because you got a big slugger gun.
Very well. I would like each of you to make a luck check, please.
23.
That
That's a pass.
is a pass from me.
16.
Okay, so that's a group pass.
What's that? 1?
You spend the next 10 or 15 minutes retrieving as many dog tags as you can from your fallen comrades, taking all of their ammunition and supplies, all of it that hasn't been damaged anyway. You take an additional 2 rifle clips,
Nice.
and from a charred, bent trench shotgun, an additional 3 12-gauge shotgun shells.
And your bandolier.
How many dog tags did we
I was gonna say, you got the radio train to see if anyone tried to see if we can get on.
Oh, yeah,
radio.
completely forgot about that.
That's a good idea.
Give that to you. 'cause I think
Altogether, you gather up about 30 to 40 dog tags. All these men, their lives extinguished in a moment. Point man, if you'd like to try to contact someone on the radio, make a radio.
Can we hold the dog
check.
test second? You didn't even die in the battle.
Oh,
Really?
Oh,
Dude.
okay.
Come on.
Okay, that's an 84. Can I push that?
You can.
60-11. What? Oh, he's a
you
D4.
roll with the roll.
Hey, roll again.
Yeah.
That's the D10. That's the right one. There.
34.
There you go. That's a pass.
Okay. You sit down, pull out the radio, turn the knobs to all of the command stations, and try to raise any of the COs using given signals. At first, there's nothing but static. Then the radio bursts to life, and on the channel that's supposed to connect you directly to Whittlesea and the rest of the battalion, you hear nothing but high whistling coming through the radio. It is unlike anything you've heard before. Some sort of electrical disturbance, perhaps.
Okay, great. Radio's busted.
This ain't right, man. This ain't right.
Ah, jeez.
Let's get to that bunker and try to find
Yeah.
out.
Alright,
What
Let's get to the
happens?
bunker.
you're going to keep your weapons drawn.
Absolutely.
You head towards the trench in the ridge. You find a simple line position with a deeper dugout right at the end. It is almost completely are filled with charred German bodies. You climb down into the trench.
Yeah, point being good.
Actually, I was gonna say maybe got the shotgun goes up.
Yep.
Either one, you pick. I'll start back.
And I'll cover with my 45 and my finger outstretched.
I jump down
Pointing.
into the trench.
The wooden steps of the dugout creak ominously as do the supports overhead as you climb down into the trench, begin to lead your way into the dark tunnel. Charred German bodies, scorch marks all around you. There appear to be no signs of life. Make a spot hidden check, please. Just the engineer is leading you.
Pass.
32.
32.
So whoever did this, it doesn't seem like they're on the German side anymore. They're on the house.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. There appears to be nothing much aside from the piles of bodies. At the end of the trench, you find a large dugout room. This cramped room holds a desk, some crates, and a large pile covered with a sheet. As you move through the trench, you look around and search through the bodies. Passing your spot hidden check, you find 2 German hand grenades.
Oh, nice.
Potato masher grenades. So you're now in this cramped dugout room that holds a desk, some crates, and a large pile in the corner of the dugout covered with a sheet. What would you like to do?
Rip the sheet off.
Or call down to the others saying it's clear and have a look under the sheet.
Alright, so the rest of you jump into the trench and join the engineer as he moves across the room towards the pile of sheets. And across the room to the pile covered in a sheet. And then, when you've all gathered around him, he lifts off the sheet. The sheet is moved, revealing the horrible sight of 6 dead Germans laying there in uniform. The corpses all have a greyish pallor to their skin and ominous dark patches under their eyes and at their jawlines. I want you to make Sanchez, please.
So before we do this, so they've all been,
Yeah, they've just been lined up with a sheet placed over them.
That's a shit.
that's a fail from me.
Okay, that will be 1d3 san for failing, 1 san for pass.
Oh, 3. Gosh, that's good.
Let's go the 1. Each link brings me closer to insanity.
Yeah.
So, the hell would have done this, and why are they under a sheet?
Well, you're the medic. Would you like to examine the corpses?
It's such a nice
From a
sheet.
distance, yes.
Go ahead and make a medicine check, please.
Oh, hooray.
Distance.
That's a hard pass.
That's a hard pass. Okay, Rico.
Just the butt of the gun, just...
Yeah, you move up to
Yeah,
the
they
dead
just-
Germans, poke them with the butt of your gun, and try to examine them from here. The musculature shows a strange emaciation, although there's no signs of extreme malnutrition. They appear to be the correct weight. The skin is dry and flaky, and when you risk touching one of the men's cheeks, the skin leaves odd, dark dust on the tips of your fingers. Also, even though the bodies are several days dead, the oldest at least a week,
For 7 days?
there appear to be no signs of any decomposition. The cause of death is unknown. No disease or poison or gas could account for the body's eerie condition.
Can we search the clothing just to see any identification or...
Sure.
The German soldiers were Americans, we don't care about
Yeah,
them.
I don't think we're
Identification.
caring about rank or file. I think
Yeah.
we're all considered at what.
Oh, sorry.
What they
Identification,
have on
but
them.
Yeah.
identification of to what the hell we're dealing with. Is there any sort of...
Well, their weapons have been taken away, as appear to be their identification. They've just got their uniforms.
So you did say there was a disc nearby,
It
right?
was.
Yeah.
Would you like to search that?
I think that, maybe see if they left anything behind documenting
Walk over to the desk. The top of the desk is bare, save for a gas lantern. However, there is a drawer at the front of the desk. There's a small combination lock on the drawer.
Has anyone got locksmith?
Is anyone a locksmith?
No.
20.
That's better. I was gonna say, while they're doing that, can I get the dust off my hand? Because I don't
Yes,
really
you
want to leave that
just
on
want
there.
to wipe it on the side of the trench.
Just something, anything better than being
Yeah,
on
you
my
just
hand.
brush it against the wooden barrier on the side of the trench.
Quick question. So this is a bunker. It's just a single room.
Yeah, it's just a single
Okay,
room at
so-
the end of a
You
trench.
just have to confirm with the keeper if you
Yep.
can push rolls.
Yes, you can push the roll. However, you will risk breaking the lock if you fail. Does our point man have locksmith?
I do actually. I'm 40. I
Ah,
totally
well,
forgot about
go
that.
ahead and
Sorry.
attempt it.
Sorry, guys.
Oh,
51. I'm going to.
Push that.
Hang on. Okay, what? This desk. What is it made out of?
Wood. You could just smash it open.
Just smash
but
it open.
you would risk. If there's
Showing what's
something,
there.
depending on what's inside. You don't know what's inside, but if there is something fragile in there,
Can
you
I
may
Trap
damage it.
ask-
explosives.
Is the desk relatively thick?
Uh,
Because if it's like that really thin sort of wood like this, we can just start scratching away at the surface really
you
quickly.
can't really tell because of all the debris and scorch marks, and
Yeah.
it appears to be in relatively poor condition regardless.
Low condition maybe, but even then it's still like, yeah.
Can I? I'm
If
sorry.
it's in poor condition and it's made of wood, can
Yeah.
we pry it open with
From the top.
bayonets?
Ah, very well. Make a strength check, please.
I can do that.
Right
Yeah.
there. It's not easy right here.
He kapows it.
That is a pass. That's a 72.
Yes.
Noticing that your comrades are failing to unlock the desk,
You are
you walk
failing
up
me.
and you stab the edge of your bayonet into the
sound
bottom
German.
of the
No.
drawer,
What?
using your
no.
rifle as leverage, and you groan with exertion, and then you hear a snap of wood as the drawer springs out,
Good move.
revealing inside a couple of sheets of paper.
More sheets.
You get them out and look at them, and in addition to being written in what is very clearly German, they also appear to be encrypted in some sort of military code.
Let me get.
Does anyone have German?
So first of all, if anyone has German, you may attempt a German check to make the cipher easier to determine.
I have French, that's almost German. So no one has German?
Nope.
Engineer doesn't have it.
Guarantee the other character she has German.
Officer has German at 50.
Oh.
But that's okay. You won't need German. If you you may attempt cryptography.
The hell is cryptography? I doubt infantry has that.
The officer has it at 20. Does the point man have cryptography?
Yes, I do have 50.
Oh,
Hey,
hey,
go
well,
ahead.
there you go, Mr. Cryptic Man.
Cryptic.
Again, I have French. I am now questioning the living bejesus over why I have French.
What do you have? What's your French
French will
at?
come in handy.
French is in like 40.
French will come in
Yes,
I
handy.
speak French too.
Je suis croissant.
So what's
Croissant is me.
I was gonna say, what the hell is your language at?
I'm at 60.
Job.
Oh, it's about 60. I just rolled a fucking 60. That's
Would you like to push the cryptography?
Yes, please.
Go ahead.
55. Can I
Like to spend
spend?
5 luck.
Yes, please.
Okay. You grab papers and you sit down on the edge of the desk, rifling through them. You're not speaking any.
During this
Yeah.
point, I just like to, just keep my eye out outside the bunker. I assume there's burn holes to peek through.
Yes, there are.
Yeah, I'd just
Just like to see in case anyone's coming.
Yep.
Very well, I'll note that. So you sit there rifling through the papers, and not being able to speak German, the cipher is much more difficult to work out. But you notice a pattern in the letters and numbers. You're able to use this to decipher the paper, and once it's deciphered, it's not written in English or German, it's just a pattern of numbers that appear to be a series of dates along with numbers that appear to be identification numbers, and next to them, completing the line, a row of numbers that you recognize as standard military code for cause of death. And so, like someone to make an intelligence check to try to determine what these
I got a 70.
easy.
Got 80.
Wait, oh,
Go
go
ahead,
for it.
go ahead.
Wait, you have it. Oh, I suppose yours. I was
Yeah.
gonna say yours is probably because you
You're
know
an engineer.
I need to make shit go boom.
It's not just brute force. Hammer.
53 is a pass.
Okay.
It's fun for different reasons.
You're able to quickly understand the format of this report. It appears to be a list of several soldiers who died in the recent days. First, starting a week ago, right up to yesterday. 6 soldiers, which you determined to be the Germans lying in the corner of the dugout room. According to this report and the stated cause of death, according to the stated cause of death, the men have died from extreme fatigue and a strange wasting sickness that killed them in their sleep and continues to plague the area.
So plague is it?
However, from your knowledge of medicine, it doesn't appear to resemble any plague you've ever seen.
Sense.
Additionally, there is an addendum to the report that states while some soldiers have not yet died, many of the soldiers occupying the trench reported headaches, lethargy, and extreme fatigue dating back about a week.
What have you found there, Egghead?
Would using the occult check any sort of...
You can go ahead and make an occult check if you think this
Is it
would...
cold? You have cold?
Yeah, I do have a cold. It's only in 40. But
Same here.
I thought maybe it might be useful. Get your dice ready in case after.
You go first. Let's see.
Okay, I got a 50.
50.
Push that.
You can go ahead.
74.
4.
No, nothing doing.
Okay,
It's
so
straight up there. This doesn't make a lick of damn sense.
you have heard stories of the Argonne Forest being home to evil spirits, and that these spirits will curse people who spill blood on their land. But in that case, why would they choose their targets so selectively? Would not every soldier in this war be afflicted with the curse?
Can I get the radio at one more time? But this time, I want to see if the time when I test the radio back outside, if the signal got stronger as I got close to a source or further away from the source.
Idea. Go ahead, make a radio use check.
I ate 3 week books this morning. Fuck, I'm retarded. 22.
You walk out of the dugout room to the end of the trench. You turn the knob, play around with the radio until the strange whistling sound comes once again through the speakers. And then you begin to walk up the trench. And as you approach the dugout, the sound gets louder and louder until, just as you are standing outside the dugout, I'd like you to make a listen check, please.
Can anyone else make listen checks?
Well, if you go up to him and...
I got a 3 zeros. Oh, that's 100.
That's 100.
That's 100, yeah.
You go deaf. I
You
got
could
14,
push- you
which
could-
is
14.
a hard pass for me.
I won't roll then.
I got
I'm still just
15.
looking through
15,
some
okay,
dials.
2 listens, that's fine. You hear the whistling, but it's not coming from the radio. Rather, there appears to be a second source of the high-pitched whistling, and it's coming from directly below your feet.
Huh. Are there any, like, ladders leading down and leading under?
You may
like,
make
the ground?
a survival check.
Sounds like a
What's your survival?
50.
Fuck.
Now that you've
That's
had
fast.
some clue that there is something beneath you, you get down on your hands and knees and you look, and you notice that there's a circle of dirt about 2 feet in area that looks as if it has been dug out and recently replaced.
Alright. Well, apparently there's something beneath us that's causing this weird ass radio signal, so
Could be more crowds.
yeah, well, that's why we have guns for.
Can we get like a nice little group yay team at the very start to lighten the mood? No, it's just ominous and darkness, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
The only
World
thing
War
that's got-
One.
the
Yeah,
only
it's World
thing-
War One. The closest thing you're gonna get to a yay team is the sweet release of death. at
Yes.
this
The
point,
only thing
so-
that'll make me go yay is if I get to go home.
which we are a long way away from now. So no.
Well, there
whatever
is
runs
some
back to.
there is some digging equipment in the trench next to you. Would you like to take hold of it and start to dig in that spot?
I suppose that would be a strength thing. wouldn't it?
Possibly. How's your looky going?
Strength.
Strength. My strength is 80.
No, I meant like you said you were keeping an eye out to see if anyone was.
Oh, yeah, but- You didn't seem to notice anyone coming. It's just the battlefield is silent as death. And when Rika comes over and taps you on the shoulder and shows you this patch of dirt, do you want to dig there?
I'll just want to have one last final look just to see if
Very well.
Yeah.
I don't blame you for being cautious.
I would just like you to make a spot hidden check, please.
May I push that?
Yes, you can.
Oh, that is a hard pass.
Take one last look out onto the battlefield, and you see nothing, but then catch a flicker of movement in the corner of your right eye. You turn and look at it, and you breathe a sigh of relief. It seems to be just a little dust devil, spiral-shaped, blowing across the floor of the battlefield.
Alright. I'm still paranoid something's going to happen. Someone keep a lookout and I'll dig up this.
I'll do.
this
Oh,
thing.
yeah,
Yeah,
slugger,
alright.
slugger. I'll point man you.
You grab a shovel from one of the wooden barriers on the side of the trench and begin to dig in the indicated spot. Make a strength check, please.
That is a 27, which is a hard pass.
You stick the trench shovel in and pull out some dirt, and indeed, the earth lifts out as if this place has been dug up before and hastily replaced. Continue to dig and dig and dig, and you feel the shovel breaking through on the other side about 5 minutes later. Then, you feel the dirt beneath your feet begin to crumble. Make a jump check, please.
Yes, you could do 40.
40 jump.
Nice. 26.
You leap out of the way as the dirt tumbles beneath your feet, revealing a hole roughly 2 feet by 2 feet, pitch black, leading down into a subterranean chamber.
What the hell have I... What have we just found?
I would be getting that later to go downstairs and have a look in.
Yep, you can easily grab a lantern and lower it down into the hole.
We're on Kansas anymore.
We're a long way from Kansas.
Alright, well maybe get like
Let's descend into the cabins.
um,
What in what order?
well, your point, man, and you volunteered, so take a lantern and
Slugger keeping me company. What's your new name? Engineer Slugger.
no, I believe his name is Boomstick, just because
Yep.
you
Oh,
don't
yeah,
have
Boomstick.
Just because you didn't pick a name doesn't mean everyone else misses out.
Hell yeah, I'm an engineer. I'll cover you.
Alright,
Okay.
Boomstick, you're going to go second. So first, Point Man M1, you head into the dugout, you pick up the lone lantern off the desk, strike a match to light it, and you begin to lower yourself into the hole. Make a climb check, please.
Love
I
climb
believe.
as a base level of 10.
50.
I got a 2. Holy
Wow.
shit!
Would you
Well,
look at that?
you managed to lower yourself
Would you look at the
safely
time?
down
Huh.
into the hole.
Well, that was a
without
fluke.
tripping and falling,
Yeah.
and you're safe. Boomstick, are you gonna cover him from up here, or are you gonna climb down there too?
Can I hold my hands up
Yeah.
like this to sort of
To
cushion
show.
anything?
Just get ready to catch me.
Make a climb check, please.
Daddy Boomstick's got you, boy.
That's a 82.
Would you like to push that?
I would like to push that.
And he just falls down. I got you!
Didn't
I
matter,
got you.
73.
I don't
Grab the side of the hole and you begin to lower yourself down. First, it appears to be going well, but about halfway down, you lose your footing. You You slip and you shout as you slam down with a smack onto the rock floor below. You take 4 points of damage and you feel your right leg snap under your weight.
I know I
wasn't planning on getting in the hole, but guess
Taken
what?
having taken a major wound.
Alright, well, I wasn't planning on jumping in the hole, but, alright, next to the rescue, I
Alright,
guess.
make a climb check, please.
What do you want?
And that
Yes,
is
to
a hard
major
pass.
wound. Hard
Just a hard pass, exactly.
Rico, you manage to lower yourself down without a problem, making sure to avoid where Boomstick lost his footing until you emerge in the stone room below.
Change his name to Broke Stick.
I think so.
Would you like to attend to Boomstick's wound?
Yeah.
Go ahead, make a first aid check, and this will be one use of the first aid kit.
Yep, that's just a pass.
Just a pass. So Boomstick, you gain 1 HP, and your major wound is cured.
Thank you kindly, medic.
That's what I do.
I'll be useful.
Alright, Private Broden, would you like to make your way down into the hole?
I just don't know.
Well, I got this.
I got a bad feeling about this, but I currently been yeah, I jump.
Alright,
Well, not jump.
jumping, climb down.
Okay.
You can jump down, you probably would take less damage if you jumped down. But, you know, you never know, it could snap your neck.
He died from jumping.
Yeah, my climb's a lot higher.
Right, so
good.
make a climb check, please.
I'll take that.
31, that is a pass.
1. Okay.
The medic had the best climb down.
You make your way safely down into the hole, once again avoiding the patch of rock that Boomstick lost his footing on. Down here in this room, dust covers everything. Patches of dried mud can be found here and there on the floors and walls, which appear to be made of bedrock, stark white and rough for the most part, with some areas having been worked smooth. There is a distinct draft in this cavern. You can feel cold air blowing softly at you as you stand here. The room you are in is choked with rubble, at least half the room consumed by a massive heap of tumbled boulders and mud that seem to be the remains of half the room's ceiling. The walls appear to be megaliths, arranged in line and leaning on each other for support. A narrow, squared stone archway leads into some sort of vast chamber beyond. And so, I will now provide for you a handout.
Yay! First physical handouts.
Yes.
Oh my.
Here we have a map of the area that you have found yourself
Yes,
in.
a template from my imagination.
So I can help better describe what you find. So you've just entered through the entry. You're right now in the entry chamber. There is a large square archway in front of you which leads out to a greater room beyond. So would you like to step through?
I would like to do a spot hidden around the rubble if I can.
Sure, go ahead and make a spot hidden check.
May I push that?
Yes, you can go ahead.
Jesus Christ. 49, that is a pass.
The rubble appears to have lain here for quite some time. There's nothing notable about it, save for a couple of shards of rock that seem to have small black spirals stamped into them.
Take that. Pondering.
Right. Yeah, I'd like to ready my rifle and just
Move out.
peek
into
out through the Great Hall.
Yep. Look around. Lantern light barely illuminates this huge chamber, leaving several alcoves as wavering pools of shadow. You can see no signs of movement. Would you like to proceed?
Yes.
The roof overhead is an impressive dome of flat stones. You can see that the far wall does not meet the roof, implying the existence of a chamber beyond. The doorway to what's listed on your map as Chamber of the Dead Another alcove lies bathed in shadow opposite it, marked on your map as the Guardian, while 3 additional exits present themselves in this room. A wide pillar-flanked doorway, much larger than anything else in the cavern, which leads to the area known as the cavern in your map. A small square portal carved through the centre of one massive stone, 2 feet off the ground and looking more like a window than a door, listed as the power node, and a narrow way directly across from the large exit, listed as rubble-choked stairs. I'd like you to make spot hidden rolls as you enter this room, please.
So is like a giant map on the side of the cavern saying you are now here.
Well, no, I'm
Damn, I
just
passed mine.
describing so you guys can see where you are. Otherwise,
25.
25. Yeah, you can push it.
Pass.
I
15.
actually-
That is a 1.
All pass.
I see all.
So you see that strange symbols cover a couple portions of the wall, listed on your map as mural 1 and 2. Additionally, what looks like some kind of altar seems to be set into an alcove. What you first think looks like a small stone is, as you look more intently at it, the figure of a man seated before the altar. Moving. A definite draft is felt here, blowing into the ominous main exit. And as you step forward into this great chamber, you all can't help but feel as if you're being watched by something unseen.
I was gonna say these symbols familiar to that stone that I tripped on earlier on.
Would you like to go up and have a look at mural 1 or 2 and see what you see?
Yeah, alright.
Which one? Mural number 1, since it's the closest.
Looks less foreboding.
Alright, let's have a look.
Well, it's again Call of Cthulhu. That's never a good feeling.
You approach the section of the wall covered in symbols that appears to be some sort of mural. And this is what you see.
Oh, I'll take a look.
Oh my god.
I'm looking at this the right way.
Yep, that's the right way up. You can tell because that.
Wow, that is. Yep, that's a thing right there. That's
You
definitely
may
a thing.
make an archaeology roll, a history roll, or an occult roll.
Where are we at? I'm gonna go with the cult because that's the only thing I have higher than 20.
Can we help
Please
him
feel
out?
free to
Yes,
say that around the group.
I got a 40.
Archaeology 40.
Oh, alright,
let's
go
do
ahead, make
this.
an archaeology check.
I got 100.
23, so it's a pass for me.
Alright, and how did Trav go?
Oh,
Yeah, that's a 6. Holy
that's
crap.
a critical.
Alright, Boomstick, you're doing well, okay.
This is history for Boomstick.
So you spend a few moments gazing at this mural.
Still looks confusing.
You're just sitting there going,
This mural appears to be like other megalithic carvings that you've seen pictures of in books. Things like megalithic carvings from the Druids in the British Isles and some parts of Germany. Something that you wouldn't expect to be in France. But this appears to be much more complex than what you know of those. The X's at the top, maybe to you might be stars perhaps. The swirls and spirals that you can see are a mystery, perhaps a comet or a meteor shower. Zigzag lines perhaps represent serpents or lightning. The most extraordinary feature are the human figures, which apparently appear to be worshipping the spirals,
The
bent
great
over
swirly.
prostrate.
It's a big swirl.
Would like you both to make hard intelligence checks,
hard
please. So this is where you're trying to get under half of your intelligence.
It looks like a gate.
can I spend 6 of my luck points
Yes,
for
you can.
pass?
Have they communicated this to us?
They're
Well,
going.
we're going to.
yeah.
Again.
Okay.
Un momento, por favor.
Oh, sorry, I thought the
Yeah.
action already took place.
Yeah, no, they're
I fail.
failed. That's
I passed
okay.
mine
You
just.
passed. Rico, you do recognise the crosses as stars. You recognise this star pattern. They do indeed appear to be stars, showing parts of the constellations Pegasus, Perseus, the Pleiades, Aries, and Andromeda. The star with the spiral around it may perhaps be the Andromeda Nebula M31 or the Andromeda Galaxy.
I like the Andromeda Galaxy. This is pretty awesome.
I like your word, Magic Man.
Broden and M1, are you guys doing anything else while they're examining the mural?
I'll go have a sneaky look at the power node area.
Power node, very well. Would you like to accompany him,
Yeah.
M1?
I will accompany you.
Very well, very well.
At this point now.
Let me see.
I have my finger outstretched.
The entrance to this chamber, unlike the other arched doorways, is a square window carved straight through the heart of a huge standing stone. The huge stone is covered with zigzag lines which have been etched over every inch of its surface. With a tight squeeze, you'll be able to wiggle into the next room. I'd like you to both make dex checks, please.
Ooh, 93. What was that, 60? Can I push that?
Yes, you can.
And it's 6. May I push also?
Yeah, go ahead.
That is a 20. That is a hard pass.
Lovely.
55, that's
Pass, lovely. The chamber beyond has a very tall dome, almost a shaft which extends into the shadows above. Standing in the room, arranged in a triangle, are 3 sets of standing stones, one of which has collapsed. The megaliths are covered with spiral motifs. Most of the room's interior is inscribed with symbols, either spirals or zigzagging lines. As you move about the room, you begin to note an odd tingling sensation like pins and needles in your extremities. Your hair slowly begins to stand on end. Your body's covered in goosebumps. You notice that in the very center of the room, although you cannot see it, something appears to be the source of the high-pitched whistling sound. Though you cannot see any obvious source of the sound, this does appear to be the point of its origin, and as the odd hum fills your ears, I'd like both of you to make power checks, please.
And then everyone died.
Hey.
Happy birthday.
Quickly, we must hum back to it.
Happy
What?
birthday, now die.
78. You can't push power, can you?
You can push it, it's a normal roll.
87, I'm gonna push that.
Go ahead.
56.
Okay.
Can I spend 6 on it?
You can. Okay, so you both briefly feel a compulsion to touch the standing
Oh
stones.
god, the pointing head's gonna test the
It's a pointing finger the whole time.
It was destined to happen.
Private Broden, you resist the urge to touch the standing stones.
Oh, can you grab me?
M1,
I could.
reach out your hand and place the surface of your hand onto the cold rock.
Can you do a dex check?
No, wait. Oh god.
You take 4 points of damage as some sort of electrical charge surges through your body, leaving singe marks on your skin and clothes as it crosses through. And then,
Oh god.
How many? 4.
4 HP. Then, an image flashes in your mind for a brief second. An image of stars blinking in the night sky, and a spiral emerging in amongst the stars as people congregate in a field, only shadows in the darkness, and begin to worship. Make a send check, please.
I did the literal equivalent of putting my tongue next to a lifeline.
Yeah, pretty much.
I saw visions. No, you almost died.
I mean,
The old difference.
Oh!
He failed hard. That's
No,
100.
Can I,
No,
No,
you can't
That would
push.
be 1d6 points of sand,
Oh
please.
boy, this is gonna be rough. What do we got? Come on.
so,
5 or
I
higher, you're in a
deserve...
mess. Oh! He,
and now he's
100
going-
followed by a 6. You,
Alright.
Oh.
Make an intelligence check,
Oh
please.
no!
Okay,
If
now
he
fail
passes this, he goes temporarily insane.
Which is gonna be great. Yeah, just roll the damn thing already.
What's the D6? Or D-
No, you gotta
Yeah,
roll.
yeah, roll
a,
your, just do an intelligence
You
Oh,
lose
okay.
6 sand, but you gotta roll do an intelligence check. If you pass, you're in trouble. And considering your
Oh, my
intelligence
intelligence is really fucking hard.
is
Yeah.
70. This
You're
is
probably
bad.
gonna
Let's see
comprehend
what
what's
happens.
going on.
88.
Oh,
my
You,
god!
Ah, you failed. You've avoided going
so there's-
temporarily.
Still lose the sixth
Just
sense.
kidding,
You
guys.
still lose the sixth sense.
Still
Come
lose
on.
the sixth sense, and you pull yourself away from the stone. The feeling of being watched even more intense, and you feel a great
Wow.
urge to destroy the stone however you can, but you can resist it. Meanwhile, out in the main cavern,
Oblivious to everything that
oblivious
just
to
happened.
everything that just happened,
I'm not so pointing anymore. I'm more of like just a closed
Yeah,
fist.
not even that. Just keep against yourself.
Rico and Boomstick have just finished examining the mural. What would you like to do now?
Well, we looked at mural number 1. Maybe we wander over and have a look at
Number
mural
two.
number 2.
Very well.
Stay away from the altar.
Yeah,
for
we
now.
are.
Yeah.
Don't know what's going on over there, but I'm not going to touch that.
Yeah, stay away from the altar that you see has something resembling a human shape seated in front of it.
No.
You head over to the mural on the opposite side of the Great Cavern, and this is what you see. As this player hand out.
Look at his crotch. It's the same thing.
Ah, here we go. You see this.
Okay. I'm getting into some more swirly things. Humans looking like they're hunting. And yeah, what I assume is a dinosaur.
Go ahead and please make your occult and archaeology rolls again.
Righty-o. 85, I might push that if I can. 26.
Oh, I got 12. It's a.
Can we just
Yeah,
like,
it's a
communicate
hard
this to
pass.
each other the whole time, just screaming at each
No,
other?
you're
There
off going,
is the writing on
you're
the
off
wall.
going temporarily, almost going insane somewhere else. But no, that's a.
Yep. The shadowed alcove, when searched, yields another mural positioned across the Great Cavern from the other one. This mural is similar to the other. You could tell, looking at it, that there's a congruence in styles between the two, but this mural has two new motifs. The huge sun symbol, or is it perhaps some kind of explosion, and what seems to be a dragon rampant on a battlefield.
Alright, me and Pointman's doing here.
Yeah,
We
Point-
don't see this.
No, you don't. But Point Man, you've just seen Point Man be thrown, be jolted by something as he touches the standing stone. You've just seen scorches appear along his skin and clothing, and he's pulled himself away and looking at you with terror written on his face. What do you do?
Man, come on! We can't afford to lose our fucking shit here! And I'm
Grab him.
Bam.
Yep.
just slap him.
Hey,
Grab him
dude.
and slap him.
I was gonna say, don't you know the first rule of military command?
Yeah.
You can lead a man off a cliff, but for some reason you just can't slap him.
Grab him and slap him. Make a luck check, please.
Oh God.
Nope.
That's a fail. Okay.
It's a fail.
Oh no.
He's panicking, whispering as if he's seen something terrible, but can't make sense of what he's saying. Grab a hold of yourself, man, you say. You reach out to M1 and you slap him. He's not expecting this. The force of your slap sends him off his feet.
I wasn't slapping him that hard.
Well, clearly he
He
wasn't
didn't
expecting
think-
it. Doesn't really
wasn't
matter.
expecting it.
Shit.
The shock of it sends him flying back off his feet, and as he falls, he throws his rifle over his head. The bayonet attached to the end of it, making a large white scratch against the surface of the standing stone as it falls.
You fool! You foolish fool!
You've doomed us all!
Meanwhile, out in the great chamber,
Oh God, it's gonna come for
Yeah.
us first.
meanwhile, out in...
Congratulations, you two have successfully doomed us all.
Great, I touched something.
Yeah, you basically.
Well, he
genuinely-
slapped you, and you fell over because you weren't expecting it. Dropped
What
your
the fuck
gun,
just let me
and your
fall?
gun
knocked
just
you out of it.
yeah.
Thank you.
No, not thank you. Oh, fuck you, you doomed us. Sorry.
Out in the main chamber, I'd like both of you to make a listen check, please.
Ooh, I can do that.
Well, we want to though.
Oh no, I definitely don't want to. It's a hard pass though.
17.
14.
Hard pass
Yeah.
for me as well.
Hear strange rattling. Wood or bone. Raise your weapons. Look around, and then you see two terrifying things.
Pass you the grenades.
I'll take those potato mashes.
Please take the potato mashes. I can't throw to save a damn life.
One of them emerging from the alcove to the left, marked on your map as Chamber of the Dead. The other, the humanoid shape in front of the altar, slowly climbing to its feet, beginning to shuffle across the floor.
Oh no.
Oh god, we activated
And
something.
here you see...
Yes.
Sorry. And here you see both of these figures. They appear at first to be humanoid, or at least the mummified husks of something that was once human. The wizened shells of men with brown, cracked, leathery skin drawn tight over skeletal bones, arms raised in your direction, fingers ending in sharp, bony claws, at least 6 centimeters long. And they're walking in your direction. Both of you need to make sand checks, please.
Really? I can't imagine why. That's a pass for me, thankfully.
81.
Nope.
81,
No one's
okay.
he's that good.
1d6 sand loss, please.
How much do I lose?
For passing 1.
Wow,
One,
every single time we've had a sand check, I've lost exactly 1. I can tell you exactly how many sand checks I had to do.
Right,
simply by
and
what I'm
Trav
seeing.
didn't lose more than 5.
No,
He
lost
just
one.
lost one.
He's fine,
Oh, wow,
okay.
good for you.
Okay, Trav,
Oh, sorry.
you've got higher decks. You get to go first. These things are slowly shuffling towards you, claws outreaching.
Are they
They're a
moving
fair
verbal?
distance away. They do not appear to be making any sounds.
For distance away.
Yeah, fair about at least 10
yeah,
feet
yeah.
away from you, enough to get off a
so
shot
You'd be
before...
here.
Maybe go this. Maybe.
I'd be here.
Yeah.
So about 10 feet. Yeah,
No,
we're
Oh, you're
yeah. So
Yeah.
if they're 10 feet away, maybe go the shotgun rather than the
Potato mashes.
Yeah,
for
definitely
now.
don't be lobbing potato mashes 10 feet away because
No.
that's just gonna blow both our legs off.
Might as well
Can-
just
can-
lay on the grenade.
Would you be able to spend an action to yell out to us?
He can do that and get a shot
Yeah.
off, but he'll be doing his firearms check with a penalty if he
Well,
does that.
you take a
No.
shot, I'll call for help.
Alright,
Oh,
make a firearms check, please.
Forearms, 50 cal would be nice. 62.
Oh shit.
I push
You
it.
can't,
well,
it's
it's
not combat rolls.
Uh,
Raise your shotgun, bang! You blast off a section of the mural, but do not hit the creature. Rico, your turn.
So, would they have heard the shot, or...?
Yeah,
would
make
have heard the
a
shot.
make a listen check, everyone, and Sarge and Private
Still
Froden.
currently pointing opposite direction.
That is a
26. That is. I got a,
No.
no.
You fail.
Yeah.
I got
Yeah.
26.
Alright, you heard the gunshot.
Yeah, you heard.
Alright,
I
so
did.
yep.
I got a listen of nothing.
Oh well, then you
Oh,
don't hear
yeah,
it. No,
you
you
crap.
cannot
Okay,
hear
but-
the gunshot.
oh,
So
God's sake.
Rico, what are you gonna do?
Guys!
You call out to them.
If he calls out, that means we're doing another listen check.
No, you can hear him calling out. You just couldn't hear the gunshot.
Yeah, we
'cause
just
the
can't hear
room
the
in the
bloody
Yeah.
big great shotgun.
Because the-
Doesn't matter,
yeah,
for the
well, you're in
love
a
of
room.
shit, get out!
You're in a room where there's an unspecified, invisible source of sound going
Yeah.
and humming. So
Whatever the fuck you guys are doing, get out of here now!
okay, I would like you both to make another listen check.
Yes.
Why?
2.
2.
Oh,
Alright.
39.
That's okay.
26.
Private Roden hears the shouts and will be able to come out on his next round. Rico, would you like to fire your weapon or are you fine?
I can give it a go.
Alright, fire at disadvantage, please.
Okay.
What gun you
That
have?
one's a pass. Oh, that's a pass anyway.
Oh, good, okay. Roll the damage for your weapon, please.
Yeah, Mr. Rifle, 2d6 plus 4. 3. That's only 4, but 4 plus 4, so that's 8 points of damage.
Alright, 8 points of damage. Okay.
2 shots
That's
left.
40% chance to kill the skeleton, so I will roll. And unfortunately, your shot hits it and chips away at some of its bone, but it keeps coming,
Yeah, better than
seemingly
nothing.
unfazed.
Better than nothing.
Meanwhile, in the other room, as the standing stones begin to hum louder, and the feeling that you are being watched intensifies. Broden, you hear the sound of Rico calling from the other room.
We're being watched.
What do
We're
you do?
really being watched.
What do I do? Alright, come on, point man. We gotta go. We're being called for. Come on, let's
Just
go.
grabs me by my arm, but still pointing.
Alright, I'd like both of you to make dex checks, please, to squeeze back through the gap into the main room.
7.
Can I push that?
Yes, you can.
Please do.
Yes, that's a pass.
Oh.
You step out into the main cavern, and then you see these terrifying creatures.
check?
I'd like both M1 and Broden to make sound
Oh
checks,
no.
please.
Where is your center?
That is a fail.
2
61.
fails. That's 2 fails.
Alright, 1d6 for each
Oh,
of you,
no.
please.
That's a 5.
Oh no.
1.
Intelligence check first for Private
Oh
Broden,
god, he's got a
please.
50-50 chance of passing.
Yeah. But you can't do as bad as what I did.
No one can go from 100 and then lose 6 sand points in the same turn. Thank God
Only
you got-
the death chamber
Yeah.
exists in both reality and
That
virtually.
is a 39.
That's a
Oh, that's a pass. You see these creatures. You see one of them shuffling towards Rico, the other one shuffling towards Boomstick. You raise your rifle, make sure the bayonet is attached, and you shout, "Charge!" and run at
Wouldn't
the
it be-
closest creature.
Wait, can we?
Make a fighting check.
What, both of us?
Just him. He's gone temporarily insane.
That's a pass.
That's a pass.
Oh.
Okay, it's going to counter with its own fighting check.
So that's a 56.
56, and it got a 35.
Oh no.
You stab at it with your bayonet. It reaches out with one of its bony hands, grabs your gun with an impressive display of strength, hurls it across the room. Make a luck check, please.
Oh, bad. Oh, bad.
That's a fail.
Bad.
It throws your gun into the giant open hallway that leads into the cavern.
Oh no.
You hear your gun clatter in the darkness, but it is permanently lost.
That wasn't impressive.
No.
Then,
Lost his gun.
with its other hand, it bares its claws and swings them into your flesh.
Oh.
And you take...
Oh no, he's calculating math.
From the first claw, you take 4 points of damage. And the second claw took away your weapon, so just 4 points of damage. And that is a major
Okay,
injury.
I'm gonna keep as much distance away from that as possible.
Yeah.
All
this
right.
is bad. We are in. Yeah, we are.
Point man M1, it is your turn.
So.
How fast the distance at the moment? It's
They're about
10
10, 20 feet away from you.
probably right now it's the best time to whip out my 30 on 6. Because that's gonna be the most amount of. Actually, no, hang on. 45, range within 15, which is, it's sort of the right.
I was gonna say maybe give your rifle to him and
Yeah.
use the 45.
Yeah.
'Cause-
Well, he's currently in combat at the moment.
Well, I mean, you could still toss it to him, but you'd have to get his attention. He's
insane.
insane.
Okay,
Okay.
well then never mind. Just
Alright,
shoot something.
so my best bet. Okay, I'm gonna get my 30 on 6.
Yep,
and
and
I'm
fire
gonna-
it.
Can I fire at the one that's currently engaged in combat?
Go ahead, make a firearms check, please.
I shoot it. No! That is a 5.
Oh wow, that's basically a crit, isn't it?
Yeah, that's an impale, so roll your damage, double it, please.
6.
I was gonna
6?
say, wait, 30 on 6 isn't it 2d6?
Yeah, 2d6.
2d6 plus 4.
2d6 plus 4.
So that's 10 plus 4, 14 times 2.
28.
Good lord!
208, 280 halved is okay. There's a greater than 100% chance he's going to kill it. He's going to roll for formality.
Oh, just do it just because.
You fire your gun, your bullet slams into the thing's skull, which shatters in a cloud of dust. It takes one more shuffling step and then collapses on the floor.
Ah, damn.
Does he
Okay.
wake out of his slumber?
On his next round, he
next
might.
turn, next turn, maybe.
Okay, Boomstick, what would you like to do?
Shoot at the other one.
Yeah.
Go
He's
ahead and
Come
make
on,
a
please,
firearms check.
please.
Come on.
Well, no,
37.
okay. So
That's a hit. Roll your damage.
Oh, good lord.
What range am I at?
If you're within...
Yeah, you're within the first range.
Yep, 10, so it's 4d6.
Yes.
Good lord, this is going.
Prepare to die.
Let's see. 7, 10, and 6. So 16.
That 80% chance to destroy
Oh,
it.
come on, baby. Come on, shotgun.
Do something good.
Roll a 1. You fire your gun. Boom! And reduce the creature to sawdust. Boom! Bones clatter.
Here's
across the floor.
boomstick.
And
Nice to meet
doesn't
you,
appear
Dad.
to be over yet, however.
Of course not. Of
As
course
soon as the bones hit the ground, you feel the draft in the cavern intensify. The dust on the ground begins to lift off. It begins to turn in a spiral as a whirlwind of dust. It immediately shoots up, filling the majority of the cavern, beginning to and forming a vortex of flying dust and stones around you. I would like each of you, including the one who is temporarily insane, to make dodge checks, please.
Dodge. Oh, that's a crit. I got an 8.
Well, you're up now?
Yeah,
Medic
It's a
dodge.
pass for me.
is a pass.
Is this in combat or?
This is an
No,
order.
that's
Half
50.
dex.
No, unless it's
yeah.
it's half your dex if you don't have anything
Yeah,
in there.
you should have it.
And yeah,
Oh, that's a
not-
pass.
That's
36.
a hard
Okay,
that's a
everyone
hard pass.
passes.
Pass for me.
Duck, weave, hit the dirt as pieces of debris, rock, dust, and bone swirl around above you, caught in the vortex. Then, before you have a chance to right yourself, you feel it. Unseen forces begin to tug at your belts, your helmets, your straps. Your shirts begin to unbutton, your backpacks unzip. The triggers on your guns pull, your guns click as they jam, and clips fall out of rifles. I'd like each of you to make luck checks, please. Except for you, Liam, you don't have a gun.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I got a 2. I passed.
68.
If
Fuck.
the cat, I got a 7.
So
Alright.
pass, and fail.
So
Point man.
M1, you feel your rifle being pulled out of your hands, and as you yank it back, there's a clip, and the magazine drops out and clatters on the floor.
Don't worry, I've still got 2 clips in my backpack.
Yeah.
Yes.
No. I don't think I gave you any of the 1/6 magazines.
Then, as the unseen forces
Don't
begin to
tell me
pull
that.
You got
and
45 magazines though.
yeah, as the unseen forces begin to pull and push and prod at you, as the vortex feels like it's going to lift you off your feet, you begin to feel a terrible alien presence try to force its way into your mind. All of you make power checks.
That is a crit. That's a 9. Holy
Is
hell.
a
Am I able to push that?
60.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's a
because
pass. Just by
32.
1. That was a
Pass.
49.
Pass, okay.
crit.
You manage to force out what's trying to worm its way into your mind. You each lose 1 point of sanity, but you retain your faculties. As the vortex gets stronger and stronger, you see a sickly green light begin to shine out of the mouth of the large cavern in front of you. And then you see it. More humanoid figures.
Aw.
2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20,
We were never going to get out of here.
40 or more of them.
We were never meant to get out of here.
Shambling their way through the door. You have but one option. Make your way back to that hole and get out.
Yep.
You
Time to
got,
run.
you got the dynamite ready? You go cause
He's
an
got-
explosion?
Can I throw the troop
Yes,
counter
you
measures?
can. Would you like to do that?
Throw one.
I was
Throw
gonna-
one, and then one behind us.
I was gonna say, yeah, maybe get up the hole and then just drop all the freaking explosives in behind us.
Just
All but
bind
one.
it all together.
Yeah, basically, take the 2 sticks of dynamite, the 2 grenades, get to the friggin' thing, and
Just
to
then
let
just
you know,
drop it down.
We're still on an alien,
Don't know.
desolate place.
Don't know.
We're getting out of there.
Right.
If you want to go fight the small army
So
all
you're
by
not
your
going to
lonesome,
throw a stick of dynamite in here?
up to you. You two
I'll
have.
throw the potato masher.
What's the distance?
About 20 feet in front of you. You just have to hurl it into the cavern mouth. It's Boomstick's turn to do it, so...
I'm just trying to work out. So the 40 is still in the cavern area, and we are hit around the mouth of the Great Hall.
Yep, and you've got to run back to the hole you came out of. Because you've unleashed something.
Yeah.
Can these guys start running before I throw?
No, they have to act in Dex order. So you
Yeah.
you shout out what you're going to do to them, and then you prime the grenade and throw it.
Get ready to run. I'm going to throw a grenade.
Make a
Yep,
throw
bet,
check, please.
Sounds fair to me.
Where's my
50. 50.
34.
34, so that's a normal pass. Okay, you prime the grenade, you shout to the others to run for the entrance. You raise your right arm and you hurl the grenade at the cavern mouth. There's a flash of green light as something snatches the grenade out of midair. Hurls it back in your direction.
Oh, fuck.
I would like each of you to make hard dex checks.
God. Holy crap, I passed!
Fuck yes. Yes.
Can I push that?
You passed.
You can push this.
52.
Oh no. You what?
Nailed.
47.
It's not far, it's not 1.
That's-
Oh.
Is that on a push as well?
Oh.
You can spend luck as a last resort, may keep you alive.
Yeah.
And I'll let you know why that happened, because the thing got a hard pass
Damn it.
on its attempts to catch your grenade.
Oh. You think?
No, even worse. I'm sure.
Would you like to spend your luck, or would you
I'm
like
gonna spend
to...
12
You
luck.
didn't have to spend all your luck just to get that.
But it means you will get some luck back before tomorrow's
If you
session,
survive.
If you survive. Oh no, if
no,
you
you
spend
only-
luck, just immediately pass.
Okay.
Yep. So you're
I'm
fine.
You
just
just
Oh,
got
luck.
0.
Yep.
Oh
Literally
my
just
God.
puffed up a little bit.
You all sprint for the hole you crawled out of as the grenade goes boom behind you. You don't even bother to look over your shoulders, but you hear the clattering sounds of bones as the skeletons are blown away by the grenade. Suddenly, the whole cave begins to rumble. You're running out of time. Everyone make a climb check, please.
Oh, God, yeah, right. Climb check.
Oh, 3!
Oh.
Shit!
I
I
need to
passed
push that, that's
27.
the
I pass.
I need to push.
Oh,
25. That's a hard pass.
Push that one.
Got a 2 going down, a 3 coming up.
oh, thank God.
26.
Oh.
We'll pass.
Scramble up the side of the hole. As you flee the dugout, the earth begins to tremble, and an eerie howl sounds from the deeps. The German trench collapses in on itself, burying the entrance forever. As the dust clears, chill rain begins to fall, washing away the grey ash. You are back in the reality of the Argonne forest, cold, tired. Move on to the second.
I just realised I should be calling it disadvantage because I still got a major.
Well, we'll just let that slide for now.
Just
Remember,
drag.
it's a birthday present.
Yay!
Okay.
Yeah, going,
that's your
yes,
birthday
I made
present.
it. Oh God.
Almost good.
What is it?
Afternoon is draining away.
So yeah, as soon as I climb up,
Well, as you-
I've just collapsed.
As you climb out, would anyone like to attend to some first aid?
On it.
So who needs it?
I'm right for now.
I got 3 health, but that's.
I got 7.
Well,
Out of
you're in
12,
luck,
so-
my good friend, because that was a 2.
Do
Oh,
we still have-
a 2. That's 1 to 3 HP, and your major wound healed.
So 1
Yeah.
to 3.
Unfortunately, I'm down to 1.
Use.
And that's
Yep.
a 3.
You can continue to use first aid when the kit is run out. It just goes back to once a day, like normal Call of Cthulhu rules.
Quick question. Does
Yep.
that mean with. Oh, shit, I forgot my question. Don't worry.
Now, the other matter we have to deal with, Private Broden's lack of a weapon.
Do I still make
Still have
sticks,
your rifle?
but just no ammo?
You still have your rifle, no ammo.
He's got ammo though.
Yeah,
I still
so
have. We still
I
have
just
You've
So
got
that's-
45. You might as well hand him the rifle, so he's got something to fight with.
Yeah,
That's a
I'll
good
just,
idea.
I do it really cool.
Considering
I
it was your,
and you catch
considering
it with
I was gonna
one
say,
hand.
considering it was your rifle that caused this mess to begin with, might as well.
Yeah, give it to that
Yeah,
unlucky
do something really
rifle.
cool. Like it's just we got someone behind you to do. Like just cocks the rifle.
It's the, again, 1918. We have no idea what zombies even are.
Afternoon is draining away. The weather is getting worse. It appears the best thing you can do for now is to find a way to get back to Whittlesea and the rest of the battalion. But where on earth would they be? The sky obscured by clouds, all hopes of pinpointing direction are pretty slim. With a hard navigate check, you may try to get a lay of the land and at least
I have
determine
30
So you need
navigates.
50.
I have 50 in track.
I have 50
Can we
in
use track
survival.
as well?
Alright, I'll allow you to do a normal navigate and him to do a normal track. Actually, him to do a normal survival, and if you both pass, I'll count that as a hard.
I got a 1.
Can I spend 5 luck?
Yes, you can.
I crit. I crit.
76.
So we can go.
Boom!
Boom!
72.
So my boy
You
is
know what? I
going
failed that.
freaking fire, man. Most expendable medic alive somehow just keeps going under 10.
You seem to determine that you are in a valley that's several miles to the east of where Whittlesea and the rest of the battalion
Right.
are. It is at least a full day's hike from here, perhaps longer if you do not make an efficient pace. The hike back is grueling, but you at least know which direction you're going, so it's not like you're going to starve out here. Being able to see where you're going and knowing where you're going, however, is of little help in the terrible terrain. Ravines slash across your path, making for huge delays as sidetracks are sought out. I would like each of you to make a dex check, please.
That is an 18. That is
Hey.
a hard pass.
18.
35.
Let's say just walking miles upon miles through enemy terrain, trying to find something
This is a-
resembling
98.
98.
Can I is it does
Push it? You can push
does
it.
it make
just
you
a
do I really
regular
need to
old
push it?
day after
You can
fighting
push it.
what
I mean,
about
if you
5
don't, you're
hours.
going to take 1 point of damage.
Fuck. Push
Game over, man.
it. Okay, that made a difference. 11.
Okay, after hiking through this treacherous terrain, the thick, gnarled trees and ravines of the Argonne, you have several close calls where you nearly trip, fall, nearly sprain an ankle. But you manage to make it through the area safely. I'd like everyone to please make a con roll as you continue to make your way along this strenuous hike.
May I push that?
Yes, you can.
And I might need to push that as well.
And that is a
Oh,
pass.
that is a critical pass. Got 3.
31 hard pass.
So it makes no
31
difference.
hard pass. So that's a pass. Okay, so you all pass. We'll just wait for Rico to make his con check. Actually, I'll make one. What's his con on there?
60.
60. And
He passed 40.
Yeah, that's a pass for him. Okay. You find yourselves growing fatigued from the hike, but you manage to keep pushing your bodies, staving off exhaustion. The cold and the damp takes its toll. You all begin to sniffle and cough. You top yet another rise and find yourselves overlooking a battlefield. In the gully below, bodies lie strewn about several craters. In the crater, several Germans, based on their uniform, lie dead, horribly mangled. No sandals are required. The constant battle
This is
has
nothing to
hardened
us now.
you to the sight of corpses. As you cross down the rise into this old, silent battlefield, what would you like to do? Yes, I'd like you both to make spot hidden rolls.
I'm not into that. I'm trying to respond.
That is a 25. That's a hard pass.
52.
Critical pass.
Nope.
Very well, very well. You notice that there are American bodies lying about, scattered in amongst the Germans, and their uniforms indicate they're from Company B, your own platoon. At last,
Found them, guys.
a
Game's
clue-
over now.
At last, a clue that they might still be alive. Furthermore, there are a lot of drag marks on the edges of the battlefield, as if someone has dragged some of the bodies away. The recent rain has obliterated the trail, however. Most of the ammunition and important supplies have been looted. However, you do manage to scrounge up one rifle magazine and enough medical supplies for an additional use of your first aid kit.
Nice. Please.
The one they kid.
I was going to say just
Oh, I did not see that.
Rico, would you like to make a medicine check to examine some of the corpses and see?
We're not so chirpy in the middle. Oh, damn it.
Sorry, this is going to have seen much before, so...
It was stark and disdainful, sir.
Sure, that's just a regular plus.
Regular pass, very well. You see several causes of death amongst the corpses you examine. Most of them died by gunshot, but some have been mauled and almost ripped apart. There are no bayonet wounds in evidence, and most of the dead have severe injuries like broken bones. None of them seem to have been shot only once. All of them have taken mortal wounds. Some of them have been shot up to 15 times, as if somebody wanted to be especially sure that they were dead.
What the hell? I had a frying pan into whatever the hell we just walked into.
Does anyone have military science?
Yes.
Would you like to
I
make
don't
a...
even know what that is, but sure.
Science of the military.
It's like tactics and formations.
I'm good with medicine.
That's a 36.
Judging by the pattern of the bodies, the attackers were a mixture of both Germans and Americans, while the defenders were all Germans.
That wasn't supposed to happen until World War II.
Hang on, but if that was the case, if he could determine that from military science, then I could still track something.
Well, yeah, but he's determined the layout of where the bodies are.
He's
He can
checking
tell
from
which
where they are.
Where,
in terms
yeah,
of
the
tracking
formations.
things, in terms of tracking things, he's already said.
Yeah.
This is the battle and the weather.
Yeah.
Any other tracks.
But he's looked at the bodies where they've fallen and can make rough formations, and this astounds you. Why would Germans and Americans be part of the same force attacking other Germans?
After what we've just gone through, this doesn't need to make any sense at this point. This is just a goddamn mess.
Would you like to continue on?
Very
Could
pressful.
we tell which ones were mauled and which ones were shot? Was it the defenders
Yes,
who
you
were
can
mauled?
actually. The defenders were the ones who have sustained the horrific wounds. The attackers appear for the most part to have simply been shot.
Just repeatedly. Like,
Yeah.
So basically, the attackers have gone into like an absolute frenzy or something and tried to maul him. Okay, well.
As the sun grows lower in the sky, you continue on. You stop about an hour later, park yourselves on a rock in the middle of a clearing, pull out some rations, make a meager meal, light up a cigarette, try to have a brief rest. As you have your brief rest, I'd like you all to make listen checks.
Shit, I don't have
33, so...
14.
Pass me.
Nice.
pass me.
38. That is not a pass from me.
3 out of 4.
3 out of 4, that would be a group pass, yeah?
Yep, that's a
There we go,
group
there we go.
pass. As you eat your meager meal, puff on your cigarettes, you hear something. The sound of shuffling. The sound of what might be someone hiding in the brush off to your right.
Should we shout at them?
Well,
They already know that we're here.
bring my shotgun up, just in case.
Yeah, arm weapons.
Raise your weapons. Do you call out, or do you merely wait?
I point.
Okay, back to back. We don't know if there's any more. And-
Dig in.
No, don't dig in. Just go back to back. All four of us pointing in the corner, and I suggest wait.
So we're in a readying
Dawn?
stance. If it
Yep,
does
just
happen.
readying and waiting. Okay, ready your weapons. You wait. The shuffling continues. Gets louder and louder. And then suddenly, out of the bush, jumps a man wearing the grey uniform of the Germans. He sees you. He opens his mouth in a surprised "oh," and then he screams, turning around and running back the way he came.
He's probably the only person that actually knows what's going on. Let's chase after him.
Did he appear to be an actual human and
He,
not undead?
he
Just
did
more
appear to be he appeared to be in relatively good condition in the brief moment you
I
saw
was
him.
going to say, maybe call out to him and tell him that we don't want to hurt
Yeah.
him.
But he speaks only German.
We don't know that.
That
Alright. I'll
We
start chasing after him.
well, we could just chase after him, which
Yeah,
I'm
you
sure
He's
will
gonna go
definitely. I'm sure if we start running after him with guns drawn, I'm sure he'll definitely stop.
He'll be going back to somewhere safe though. I mean, he survived this.
I mean, he's
Okay, lower guns and sus. Don't chase. Just a brisk pace. Yeah. Hands up or guns lowered. Go.
I'll just get my finger.
We're
on
not
my
one of
finger.
them.
shoot.
We're
No.
not one of them.
Yeah.
Lower your guns, raise your hands.
What is
and
it? Americano.
Yeah. Step into the brush, following after him. Trying your best to appear to be no threat. I'd like you all to make appearance checks, please. That for you, Trav, would be APP.
58.
Oh, that's a 38. That is
Ooh,
just
I just passed.
78.
Hey baby, please come on.
Oh no, sorry. I'll just off a hard pass. So far.
We'll
Well,
pass.
I just scraped through on
Alright,
pass.
so that's a group pass
I'd probably look
altogether.
far more attractive if I wasn't covered in other people's guts and blood all the time.
Just
but
the same, you appear disheveled enough that you're not much of a threat. The German man continues running ahead. Not fast, just fast enough to stay away. He continues looking over his shoulder. Eventually, he reaches a large boulder, looks at you, and then sinks to his knees, raises his hands to his head, and begins to sob. Gott hilf mir, die Toten, die Toten.
now see, my character doesn't speak
Yeah, but
German,
you
but I know
know.
part of that, and that ain't good.
What? Alright, come on out of character.
Well, the first part was like, oh god, oh god.
And the
Die
rest
Toten-
out of character was
I don't
the
know what-
dead.
Ah, so that's what Toten is. Okay, so do we try any other language?
Well,
What are the odds of him speaking French?
Never know.
it's actually kind of that would be actually kind of high.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say I might try slowly talking to him in French in the off chance that he like just basically going, yeah, do you speak French?
Well, make a lucky check.
Oh, so that'll be fun. That's an 11, that's a pass.
Oh.
Sorry, 17, still pass.
You were in luck. This
Oh.
German speaks French. Go ahead and make a French check and tell me what you would like to say to
I'm
him.
gonna do fromage.
So we
Oh,
got
it's
one
like you're
group
fancy,
French in.
I suppose. I need to fucking push that shit. Come on.
Pass.
Wait, you're not. Do you
You're
Yeah,
not
I do.
rolling
Oh yeah,
keys.
you speak
Also,
French.
yeah.
He speaks
Well,
French. He
that's
can help you.
Oh,
Yeah.
I got 24, so.
Alright.
Sorry, I didn't know you spoke
Yeah.
French.
So what would you like to say to
Just
him?
helping, sorry.
Just basically sort of slow and go, says, we're not enemies at the moment. What happened here?
He looks up at you, his face white, his eyes round with fear. He says, holding out a trembling hand, Gerhard Rittner, Lieutenant!
Okay. Pretty much point to the whole room going, privates.
You notice that his uniform is covered in mud and blood-stained from a wound in his left shoulder that he clutches with his other hand as he holds out a hand to shake him.
I point to like the medical patch on my uniform and go, in French, do you want help? Or like, I could at least check to see.
He crawls forwards and removes his hand. Make a first aid check. This will not count towards your supplies.
Oh, thank
And,
God. 39, so that's a pass.
Being as because I don't understand anything, but I recognize what's going on.
Yeah.
I reach into my pack and and pull out a smoke.
Ah, that one. Yes.
Yeah.
As you examine the wound, he reaches out and takes Private Broden's smoke, puts it in his mouth, and then with a trembling hand extracts a silver lighter from his breast pocket, lights it. He immediately seems to calm down. You notice as you examine his wound and apply some basic treatment to it, that he appears to have been clawed with 5 fingers that have cut deep into his flesh. And you almost seem to instantly know what he's come up against. As you examine the wound, he sobs and begins to tell you his story. Gerhardt's unit was attacked about a day ago by soldiers who could not be killed. After fighting desperately in close quarters, he realized that his attackers were animated corpses, risen from the dead and extracting hellish vengeance on the living. His mind snapped, and he fled in terror. As he talks, he becomes more lucid, beginning to mistake you for a German officer, calling you sir, saluting. He tells his story, hands shaking, eyes darting about madly. Again and again, he raves about the dead rising from the grave, the angry spirits of the dead. The end of the world must be at hand, surely. He tried to stop them, but he couldn't. His men were shot, torn apart. All his good men, they just kept coming. He fired and fired, but they wouldn't fall. He stabbed one, but it would not bleed. The flesh was dead. The dead were walking. Poor Karl. Young Karl. Gerhardt starts sobbing uncontrollably.
I have a small amount of psychology. Can I try and see if I can just work him back down a little bit?
Go ahead and roll that.
Will you be able to move the band because of the cigarette I gave him?
Yes.
Well, it's already a... Oh, that's not a and that's a 19, so that's a pass.
Yeah.
He cries, rocking back and forth. You just go, shh. Try your best to counsel him. Tell him about how you've all seen the atrocities of war and that you all just want to go home. And if he just keeps his head on his shoulders, he'll be able to come home. He'll be able to get out of this godforsaken place and get back home. He sniffles one more time, takes a puff of the cigarette, stands up and looks at your party as if asking if you would accept him coming along with you.
I was going to say, when I was checking the wound, is it just like claw marks, or is there anything like any sort of infections or anything else going on?
It appears to be claw marks. It was bleeding quite profusely, but did not appear to be infected.
Okay, just obviously checking just in case, because we don't know how...
How old is the wound?
Oh, it looked maybe a day or two old, about as old as those bodies you found.
Okay,
And
so...
just keep an eye, just to be
Yeah.
safe.
Do you want to ask him where he's been hiding in the meantime? Was it just behind this boulder, or is it?
I can ask.
Because he might have a better suggestion
gonna
of
say-
where we are.
You've calmed him down enough. You may ask him. Would you like to
Alright.
ask him where he's been
Yeah,
hiding?
yeah, so go wherever you...
He takes a few steps back and he says, Village on the other side of that rise. Been hiding in one of the houses. It's safe there. I think it's safe there. He says, I can take you if you like.
I was going to say, it's pretty much nighttime at this point, isn't it?
It's about to be.
I'm
Right,
just going to assume that everything you're saying, he's immediately translating.
Yeah,
to
Pretty
us.
much sitting there going,
Yeah.
just going, okay, so... You know, obviously we're not going to be getting much ground trying to wander around aimlessly in the dark. We want to try and bunker down. I pretty much relay this back in English, going, maybe just keep an eye on our friend here.
He knows more about the village than we do, and if you say it's safe,
He said he thinks.
He
I
thinks
just
it's
I
safe.
relay to you to tell him how positive.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Is it
how
gonna be-
sure are you of it? Of it
He
being
says,
safe?
he says, I saw none of the monsters, but also the village is, there's no one there.
there any place where we could bunker up and seal ourselves in for the night?
He says, the houses in the village. I couldn't see any villagers, but we could barricade one of the houses and rest for the night. I'm sure of it.
It's better chance
Better
than
than being
anything
out in
else.
the open.
How
Yeah.
far away is this village?
He pretty much said just over.
He says
Oh,
just over the
there.
rise,
Okay.
and he'll take you to
Yeah.
it. So you won't have to
Alright,
find your
so
way there
yeah.
because
Yep,
you've
okay.
calmed him
It's-
down.
Yeah,
Yep.
we'll it's the best plan we've got.
Yep.
Beats wandering aimlessly in the dark in the open in the middle of the night. So
There's another person. Has he got any weapons? Can he defend himself?
You notice You notice that he is wearing a holster by his waist. You can see the hilt of a Luger pistol hanging out of it.
again, better than nothing.
Yep.
All right then. Well, let's take our new comrade of sorts and go scope out this village.
All right. So with Gerhardt leading the way, you soon come to this village. After what seems like an eternity of staggering through the smashed landscape of the Argonne, you top a rise and find yourselves overlooking a village in a gentle valley below. Neat, regimented fields and long rows of skeletal orchards surround the place, dimly lit by the last light of the feeble sun. A small cluster of perhaps 20 buildings, the spire of a steeple standing out in the centre. Buildings are squat, black shapes, almost formless in the growing shadows. Not one light shines through a window, not one soul can be seen moving about, and silence reigns supreme. Even the farm animals seem to have gone. As the last of the grey light dies, the wind picks up and soon sleet is pinging off the soldiers' helmets. The place may be dead, but at least it's shelter. When you reach the village, you find it quite mysterious. The place doesn't look like it's taken any shelling or other damage, yet it's empty. Doors stand open, window boards flap in the wind. But the streets are empty, and there is no sign of life, no one staring through the windows. What would you like to do?
It's entirely possible they evacuated for the
Shelling, yes.
Two possibilities. That we are dead.
I could use my trap to sort of see what's
You can roll track to see if anyone's passed through here recently, but I don't know how useful that
It's,
would be.
it's just looking for any sort of indication that we could make sense of.
Alright, go ahead, make it.
concerned with trying to find some
That is
possible-
15.
You notice that the dirt track that serves as the main street is rather smooth. There aren't any tracks, wheel marks, horse hooves. It looks as if nobody has been out here for quite some time.
That is
Alright. Pick a random house. Alright. You look around and you see a house that seems large enough to accommodate all of you. You gesture for Gerhardt to follow you, lead him towards the house, and step in through the open door. The first thing you see as you step inside is the remains of some sort of kitchen or dining room. On the wooden table is a thin layer of dust covering several plates that even now have festering, putrid remnants of food lying upon them.
It's been abandoned for quite some time.
Yeah. By the way, barricade doors and windows.
There appears to also be a door. There's a small kitchen. It's once again covered in dust. Looks like it hasn't been used in some while.
Make a few
There's a
fire.
door off to the right that seems to lead into a bathroom and a lone bedroom off the dining room to the left.
Can I search the kitchen for some coffee?
Yes, you
I'll
can.
search
As
the
I say, can I
bedroom.
do survival check to try and start barricading?
Yes, you can. I'd like you to make a survival check. I'd like you to make a spot hidden check, and I'd like you also to make a spot hidden check.
I'll join for a spot in.
Is a
Yep.
17, which is a hard pass.
37.
So first of all, Private Broden, you cross past the dining table over to the kitchen, and as you step behind the kitchen counter, you see on the tiles a small carcass in shadow. Hard to make out at first, but then you lean down get a closer look. It appears to be the emaciated corpse of a house cat. Its fur having fallen off in a pile around it, its skin a dull grey.
Throw it out.
Just crush it with your boot.
It's fucking grey, that's no.
Like to cut the head off with the bayonet.
Reach down and you cut off the head. As you cut the head off, it seems to make a loud snapping sound as if you're breaking something hardened. The head cuts off, and in between the head and the body, you see a small pile of strange black dust beginning to pool on the floor.
So yeah, the same thing that
Is affecting the animals.
Yeah.
the animals plus like the German soldiers we found.
Yep.
So don't get any of that shit on you, and please throw the cat out.
Yep.
Step past it and open a cupboard and begin rifling through it. You see a can of coffee, pull it out. It's about 2 weeks out of date, but it should still be fine.
Yeah.
At this point, fuck it, any port in the
So-
storm.
If we're gonna bunker down, is it a 2-story house or is it a single?
Single-story house.
Alright. The reason why I say make small firing holes, so if we do have to
Oh,
defend it.
firing holes. I thought you said
Yeah,
make a small fire. I'm going,
No, sorry.
fire.
Can we make a few firing holes
Yes, you can.
to sort of like we only bought up, but we still want it to look like we're not out of place. It still looks eerie.
I don't think it really matters how it fucking looks if we're just bunkering down for the night, making sure nothing else gets in.
Well, the thing is that like if anyone does walk past, they just walk straight past as if nothing.
Meanwhile, Rico, you gather up some. You break down you break down an armoire and gather some loose pieces of wood and begin to set up a makeshift barricade on the front window and start to nail the door shut as Boomstick opens the creaking door and steps into the bedroom. And inside, you see. I'd like you to make a sand check,
Oh,
please.
Oh no.
53. Shit, fail.
53. Okay, you lose 1d3 sand.
Yeah, we're not gonna sing for at least.
Inside the bedroom, you see a double bed. At the foot of it, a wooden cot. Sprawled on the bed, you see the lifeless, grey-skinned corpse of a woman clutched in her arms. The grey-skinned body of a baby. And seated beside the bed, slumped over a wooden chair, the emaciated, grey-skinned body of a man who was sitting watching over them. All three of them stare at you with blank, lifeless eyes as you enter.
You stick with the. I was gonna say remove heads and don't get any of the crap on you.
Yeah.
This is beyond fucked up, but
Bring out my trench knife.
Bring out your trench knife
this is
and
well truly
Do you
beyond
want
fucked
to
at this
call
point.
us all in to
but-
go help out? Because we can't let him do it by himself because it's
Well,
nasty.
we'll leave someone watching over the German.
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
German-
just leave the German
Yeah.
with me as we.
I was about to say, leave the German with me while I'm making everyone coffee.
the German comes over. Gerhardt looks at the can of coffee and he smiles. The first smile you've seen him crack. He immediately begins to spoon handfuls of the coffee into some mugs that he pulls out of the cupboard.
Oh yeah, we're going to. Yeah, it's gonna say coffee speaks all languages.
While
It may
Rico,
not be insanity, it's coffee.
coffee.
Yeah.
Coffee.
Meanwhile, Rico and M1 hear Boomstick calling you into the bedroom. Sand checks both of you, please,
Yeah.
as you enter.
Oh,
It's the first one I failed.
Alright,
True.
failing 1d3 as you see
Oh,
the
that's still a one.
saddening
Nice.
sight.
I said I
I'll let
wasn't.
someone down
Yep, you see the saddening sight in front of you. Then, as Boomstick describes what you must do, you set to work the grisly task ahead, removing the heads of all three corpses, feeling yourselves almost feel the sickness moving up your throat as you saw off the heads. I'd like the three of you to make con checks, please.
That's That is one off a critical. Again, medic.
3 of the critical.
Saw the heads off the corpses and then immediately turn around, throw up all over the wooden floorboards, but the nausea passes quickly, have no lasting effects. Then, as you're about to leave the room, like 3 of you make spot hidden checks, please. That's a group pass. As you're about to leave the room and shut the door behind you, you see something glimmering through the bedroom window. Distant light. What's that, you think? Walk over to the window, you press your face against the pane of glass. You look at the light. It appears to be coming from the church steeple at the end of the street. Normal yellow light. What would you like to do?
Yeah, because if all those things
The
come
last
out,
thing we want to be
won't
doing
able
is
see
going.
them.
Yeah, we don't want to draw any attention to ourselves.
Yeah.
Alright. So you continue to bunker down, Rico setting up barricades. You shut the door to the bedroom, you close the blinds so you don't see the light of the steeple, and then you barricade the bedroom door shut as well.
Passing out coffee to everyone.
Gerhardt and Broden pass out coffee to everyone. You take a sip. It's the worst coffee you've ever tasted.
I was
but-
gonna say in this particular situation.
Yeah, it's the worst coffee you've ever tasted, but at the same time, it's a little slice of heaven in hell here. And so you may each gain 1d3 san.
Oh, yeah.
Damn, we'll take 2.
3.
Oh,
Très bien, très bien. Merci beaucoup. Très bien.
You sit down for about another hour, just slowly sipping your coffee.
are we taking point? Just
I believe we'll be taking shifts on.
Yeah,
sleeping.
none of you willing to speak about what you've seen in
Don't
the
wanna.
house.
Do we still want to fully trust the German?
Said,
Well, I know what situation it is. Like, I'm speaking in character. I know what situation we're in, but we still.
I know, but I think this has gone well and truly beyond borders of the map.
I've really found that when the Germans and the Americans were both massacred together, they were defending against something. So we're all friends at the moment.
He's injured, so let him sleep tonight. Just watch him while we're watching
Yeah,
the
we'll
house.
take shifts and we'll let him slip through.
As you discuss the shifts for the night and begin to sit down to sleep, I'd like all of you to make a listen check, please.
That is a
Ooh,
26.
that's a pass. That's a
A fail for me.
That's an
Pass.
81. Can we...
2 passes.
No.
Yeah, 2 passes, that's enough.
Oh, sure.
As you're about to settle down to sleep, you hear, against all hope, a voice shouting in the street outside in French. Make French rolls, please.
You mean baguettes?
Uh,
Okay, sorry.
Pass 27 out of 40.
That is a critical pass.
You hear someone shouting, I saw you enter the town. I saw you from the church bell tower. Please come out.
We're not here.
They're humans.
Alright,
don't
one of
say
us
anything.
one. Sing.
Don't want me to get it.
What are you gonna say?
I can just sort of hold the gun pressed against him.
How far is the church and how
I was gonna
loud
say,
are
I'm
they
pretty sure
shouting?
he's yelling from down the street.
Yeah, he's yelling from down the street. He's not right outside the
I was
house.
gonna say maybe like go up to like a window or something and just sort of yell out, going, you know,
He's drawing attention to. Like, if we respond, we get attention.
yeah, well,
Attention.
he knows we're here. So
Is he coming down to
he's
our...
already said
He's
he
just
knows
stepped
where-
out into the street and called out for you. He doesn't know which house you're in.
Can we just not say anything?
He's already said he knows.
He knows you're there, but you don't
doesn't
have to.
know.
Doesn't know exactly
Thing is,
where you are.
say for example, our zombie mates come back. They only know where he is. They don't know where
Yeah.
we are.
Do you think he's going to? If he knows you're here, do you think he's going to search every house till he finds you, or do you
More
think
than likely, if he knows there's people in the town, he's more than likely going to keep searching.
And if he does come to our door, rip
Yeah.
the door open and bring him in.
As you discuss what to do, he shouts again, "Come out quickly, for God's sake! Come out and come to safety!"
Well, I don't need any other ideas, shall we?
As
Go,
loud
just
but as
eat.
quiet as you can. I know that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I know.
But just go, for the love of God, shut up.
Yeah, just.
He knows more about what's going on than we do. So if anything does, we don't.
I don't.
Well, he said the words safety. And if he knows safety, that means he knows there's something going on.
Yeah, but in times of crisis, safety is considered the church. So he does know what's going on.
He may know what's going on.
And he would have also
Because
known
he
that the
lives in
German
this
soldier
village.
was here as well.
Yeah, he lives in this village, so he may know what's going on.
Yeah.
He also may just be trying to call people to the church because that's what people do when things are happening.
Alright, so.
But he also would have known that the German soldier is here with us. And the German soldier was
Well, no,
already here
he
before.
doesn't know who we
He
are.
doesn't know
just
who.
knows
He's just
there are
seen.
people
Yeah, he's
here.
just seen people come into the village from the steeple. He doesn't know who. He just knows there are people.
Alright, do you want me to do... Can I do a stealth check to go on?
I don't think you have stealth.
I do.
He does.
Well,
He
I have
does.
stealth as well. I have 40, but I don't speak French.
Very well.
Can I
White man.
stealthily
Yes.
yell out to
Let me
him?
just go as.
You will-
can't stealthily.
You'll
yell,
have to.
right?
You'll have to leave the house and make your way up the street and try to talk to him face to face. That way you don't have to shout.
Alright. Barricade the door
Just like-
behind me.
For the love of God, shut up, I'm coming.
Do you know the time?
So you guys open the door for M1.
Yeah.
You guys open the door
just-
for M1. Seal
guns
it,
out.
guns out. Seal it shut behind him.
Nice.
And then M1 creeps down the street, making
Honestly, just watching his back from the house.
watching his
obviously.
back,
Yeah.
waiting for anything to jump out of the shadows.
Can you take point?
Then
Yeah.
you see, standing in the middle of the street, a few meters in front of the church steps, the haggard figure of a priest dressed in full regalia for mass. His back is turned to you. He's looking around, trying to catch sight of you, but hasn't yet seen you. He opens his mouth, ready to shout again. Walk up to him, place your hand on his right shoulder. He jumps with fright, quickly clasps his hand on his mouth so he doesn't scream. And then he turns around and, breathing heavily, he looks you up and down and he says, in French, "Americans? American soldiers."
Oh, American.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you're the only one here can speak French.
Yeah.
And I'm still back at the house, so.
And this time I'm just not going to try and reassure him. Like, what are you doing?
He says, "By chance, I was in the bell tower. I wanted to look out into the village to see if I could see those things. There were no signs of life, but I saw a group of people come down from the rise into the village. I feared the worst, but as a Christian, I have a duty to offer sanctuary to anyone who needs it." He says, "Praise the Lord. American soldiers, saviors in this time of need."
And I just quickly said to him, like, is there anybody else here?
He says, "I'm afraid this village is
Go on.
gone. I'm the last one left. I've been waiting in the church for anyone to arrive." He says, "The houses, they are not safe. Those things come through the village by night, but not enter the church.
Wait, do you? Just really asking, do you have a safe building in your church? Is there an underground passage anywhere?
It says there is no underground passage, but
Basically, don't go to the church.
this is my church. My church is under the protection of the Lord, and I have things you may need.
The Lord's back in heat.
Look,
Okay.
at this point, yeah, that's.
I have to go back and go summon the rest of my crew and just anything is safe. Like
So you tell him to wait at the church, and you'll bring your friends.
Maybe.
maybe I should go on
Maybe I was gonna
first.
say, no, one stay with the priest.
I've got to. That means I've got to run back in.
You got you got both of you with him, aren't you?
No,
Just-
I'm just
You're back at the house, aren't you?
You go with it?
yeah. No, I'm just taking point and just keeping.
He's watching down the end of the street with the gun.
Okay, so do you want to signal to him that it's safe and to bring the rest of us over?
Yeah, I'm about to do that. I start signaling in a
Yeah.
very hurried fashion. Everyone,
Alright, come on, guys. I think we can do this.
Alright.
Be quick and as sneaky as you can. Let's
Yeah,
go.
Just as quick.
You step out into the street and let the priest lead you along. You quickly make your way to the church doors, wide open. He gestures for you to enter. You move past him, and then he pulls the doors shut behind him. Inside, the chapel rises to delicate vaulting high overhead, leaving the roof bathed in shadow. Candles adorn every pew, hundreds of them, some in ornate stands and some stuck to the wood of the pews themselves. The dazzling, flickering light plays over the gentle features of the apostle statues and the stark white columns that line the aisle, leaving the walls and stained glass windows lost in shadow. The nave is brilliantly lit by more candles, rising in a forest around the altar. The domed ceiling over the nave is adorned with a brilliant painting of the Saviour as judge, clad in brilliant purple, seated on a cloud and flanked by angels, ushering the faithful into salvation. A great crucifix hangs suspended on chains over the altar, the white figure of Christ gleaming in the golden light. At the altar, you see two gargoyles perched on either side. And make a history check, please, Rico.
Greg's my history's only 20. Yeah, I was gonna say, no, I got 25. I was gonna say, can I just spend the
Yes, 1 in 5 luck. On either side of the altar are weathered statues, Gothic-style figures in armour, sword in hand, right feet resting on the severed heads of what look like giant snakes. You identify them as Michael and George, the dragon-slaying saints of Christian mythology.
Within Dragon.
First question. Big door we came through to get in the church. Does it have a barricade?
The priest looks and he points up on top of the door where you could see a large blob of wax covering the seam in the doors, stamped with a strange symbol you've not seen before, a kind of five-pointed crooked star.
Huh.
Is
I
this
do,
church very
May
illuminated?
do an occult check.
Ooh, 17. It's hard pass.
You identify this as being a ward or barrier of some kind to ward off evil spirits, but you cannot determine.
As long as it works, I don't give a shit
Yeah,
what it is.
Cannot determine
Take
the
note
exact
of the-
mythology this talisman is from.
I will basically just go, are there any other doors in or out of this place, and do you have these on every single door?
He looks around, he says, just the one door. That one elder sign shall protect it.
Can I ask you, has he had any of those things come around recently? When was the last known time?
He says, a group of them came through the village 2 nights ago. They came through the streets, searched in the houses. They passed by the church. Some of them came to the door, but they were repelled by the elder sign. They turned away and left. But the elder sign is not effective against all evil. At the very least, it will protect us from those things. The priest appears to be a haggard mess, drenched in sweat, his frail hands trembling. Stubble shrouds his chin, and there are black marks under his eyes. As you look around the chapel, his eyes dart from left to right like that of a madman. He starts at the slightest noise, whirling about to stare into the shadows, frantically searching for an unseen nemesis. Finally, he heads over to the altar and ushers for you to sit down in the pew in front.
To do a medical check, quick medical check, just from first glance, because of what he's seen on the dead bodies to what he's seen on his dark eyes. Could it be tiredness, or could it be something else? Could he compare it just from a visual check?
Yes, you can. You may make a medicine. You may make a medicine check. That's a hard part. So without touching him, you just look at the pallor of his skin. And yeah, he appears to be scared, witless, sleepless, quite exhausted, but there is no sign of the grey colour that you saw in the others. It appears that whatever he does have up on that door has so far kept him safe.
Hey, and how that German friend, that's what we're looking.
Look at the German friend. Look over at Gerhardt. He's staring at the gargoyles, then at the altar, then at the priest. Then he looks up towards the elder sign. His mouth begins to drop. You see his eyes growing wide as he stares at it. He looks at you and he says, The symbol of those evil magicians! We must destroy it! He pulls out his
Grab.
Yeah, grab him. Go
Make a dex check, please.
All of us?
Just Private Broden.
5.
Oh dear God.
You grab him and wrestle the luger out of his hand. He looks at you, sighs, and then drops down in the pew, buries his face in his hands, and starts to sob again.
Okay, you hold on to his gun.
Let's go talk to
try
him,
and.
Jim. He knows something.
I was gonna say, I'll
Yeah, he's
try
done
and go. Okay, what? Look, I know it's things aren't great right now, but what just happened?
That's the difference between us and the outside.
Yeah, that like I go, look, I don't understand what's going on, but yeah, apparently this is keeping those things out. So
Make a psychology check, please.
dear. Ooh, and yep, we're in 24.
Good on you.
He sighs. He says, magic is not the answer. It is the war that called them, all the suffering that broke the seals like that and woke the sleeping furies. While men sleep, they steal their souls, condemning them to a horrible death. Soon, the dead shall rise, and the servants of Lucifer shall work great evil.
But is this what the German was saying?
This is what Gerhardt says.
You're saying this in French?
He's saying it in French to you.
Okay, how's the priest looking about all this?
Priest looks at him. He seems to grow agitated.
No, I'm just looking between the two, going, okay.
He grows agitated, and he says, What are you saying? The elder sign is all that keeps us safe. The servants of darkness are on the move. As they tried before, they will try to usher forth the day of the beast onto the earth and open the gates of hell here on earth. Libera nos domine, ex diaboli inferni. The records in the chronicles of old. The verses that will defy them, the chant that will banish the beast.
Oh, great. So it's a cult member.
The soldiers must go to stop them before all good men perish in damnation, and just then, the elder sign breaks off the wall. falls down and shatters on the floor.
One, fuck, two, where is the actual barricade for the door?
Quickly grab the pews and just jam it up against the wall.
Yeah, something, anything.
Just then, a scrabbling, scratching noise plays over the windows as if a horde of rats were running about on the walls and roof.
Fuck.
No! The priest cries, and suddenly a strange crystal lying on the altar begins to glow with an unearthly blue light. The priest picks it up, rushes over and thrusts it into Broden's hand, then frantically gathers up several ancient-looking tomes off the top of the altar and presses them into Rico's arms. Take them! He cries in terror. You must! Right then, the doors to the church fly open and a savage wind whips in, blowing out all the candles. By the strange green light that fills the darkness,
Damn it.
you begin to see the pews breaking off the wood and lifting up into the air, 2 by 2, snapping in half in midair, and landing, falling back onto the floorboards with a deafening crash. Then, all hell breaks loose. The stained glass
You mean it
windows...
hasn't already?
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's okay.
The stained glass windows shatter, filling the room with flying shards of glass. In the chaos, you look towards the windows. All of you make spot hidden checks.
That's a 15
Pass.
pass.
That is a 3.
2 crits, 1 pass.
You look at the windows and you see them, those skeletal creatures, the same ones you saw in that underground chamber, scratching at the window
I
panes.
immediately hand the Luger back to him.
Yeah, guess what, buddy?
You were right.
I'm sorry.
Fair cop, here you go.
So,
He takes the Luger, looks around, sees the things clawing at the windows, sees the pieces of pews flying above, the whirlwind beginning to form out of green light in the church. Then he raises his Luger to his head
No,
and
oh
pulls the
no!
trigger. I'd like you all to make sand checks,
God,
please.
9!
Damn it!
That's a
9,
waste of a
4, yeah.
fail.
That's pass.
9, yeah,
I lose
That
2
would have been a
sand.
fail if I didn't drink the coffee.
Alright, if you failed your sand check, that will be 1d6 of sand loss, please.
Oh!
If you passed, it would be 1d3.
3.
Yeah, no, fair enough. And of course, that's a 3.
That's a 1.
3. Very well.
Thanks, coffee.
Whirlwind roars to life, sending boards, candles, and glass screaming around you and the priest. Make dodge checks, please, as debris begins to swirl around you, just like in the underground
That's
chamber.
a hard pass.
Hard.
I need to push that.
That is a fail. Let me...
Straight up is a pass.
Oh,
That's a 4.
took one look at the situation and chose the easy way out.
47, so it's half my dex. Oh my
Yep.
god. Can I use... Is it worth using my luck right now?
It will keep you alive.
Yep.
You will take 1d3 of damage from the debris if it hits you.
Yeah, that'll kill me. I'm going to use 7 luck to
Nice.
pass it.
Alright, you all duck as the debris flies over your heads. The wind picks up, the whirlwind grows louder, and soon, over the din of the wind, communication becomes impossible. You cannot hear each other shout. The priest cries something, and a new sound reaches your ears, a hellish scream of metal. Looking up, you can see the great crucifix swinging on its chains as if straining against them. Just then, the cross snaps free, hovers for a second, then flies through the air, impaling the hapless priest through his back,
no.
the bottom emerging in a gory spray from his chest. The instant the cross hits, all of the debris falls to the floor with a deafening crash, leaving the church utterly still, save for the dying gasps of the priest, who soon falls to his knees, vomits a gout of blood, and then dies. And the scratching, tapping, as the creatures begin to break through the stained glass windows. 3 of them. You get the feeling that, thanks to some choices you made earlier, you're facing far less than you would have.
Oh, thank fuck.
But 3 of the skeleton creatures from the underground chamber crawl into the room, into the church, and begin to shamble towards you.
Well,
Have you got your broomstick ready?
Okay, you are
Alright.
up first, Point Man M1.
Point where? While still
it-
pointing at them.
no, I believe you start pointing that goddamn 45 at them. Thank you.
45 on a Mac. That should still.
Yeah,
It's a pistol.
pistol.
Alright.
So
Let's.
you had handguns.
Oh no, you got the rifle, haven't you?
Yeah, I got the rifle.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, I am going to start taking rounds off at them.
Very well.
Because I've got nothing else I could use. Actually, can I quickly scan the room? I've got enough time as a reaction to quickly scan the room for a possible exit.
No, he's already said there was only one way in.
And I'll
Yeah,
show
the
you.
door.
The front door is the only.
And not through the windows.
However, if you make, I'll allow you to make a quick spot hidden check.
Critical pass.
Ooh.
Jeez.
You notice that even though they're bursting through the windows, none of them are coming through the front door, as even shattered on the ground, the Elder Sign seems to repel them from coming through that way.
You got your boom stick. Do you want to cover?
Well, you
And-
pick up the elder sign.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Chase
left
at them.
No, more like keep us from being freaking.
Well, you can't actually you can't, if you try to tell him something, he's going to have to make a listen check to hear you
Oh,
over
yeah,
the din of the
we
wind.
Okay. Maybe just go and grab the.
What's your
others.
listen?
Mine. Where are we at?
Mine's 40.
Listen. 60.
I'm gonna try that.
Alright,
You got.
shout out to them that you're going. You shout at them to cover you while you run for the Elder Sign. Other of you make listen checks.
That's
29.
a 16.
That's a
So-
fail.
75.
But as long as one person hears it,
Rico
you,
heard. Alright,
yeah, you
so
can
you're just
communicate that.
relying on Rico here to give you covering fire. So Rico, point your gun at the
We'll see.
nearest
I'm the
creature.
best listener, but unfortunately, I'm also the worst shot out of
Yeah.
everyone. So
Still a shot.
You may
Everyone's-
take one shot at the skeleton nearest to M1 and
43
see if you
still
can
pass.
buy him a second. Yep,
Yep,
43
yep,
passes. Make roll your damage.
It's gonna be 10 points of damage.
10 points of damage.
Nice.
Double that to 10. I've got 10 points, 100. That's 50% chance to destroy.
Oh, that'd be fun.
And unfortunately, you don't destroy it, but you blast away one of its ribs, and it stumbles enough to allow M1 to attempt to run
That's
past.
Can I run away and one hand shoot behind me?
It would be tough, but you can do it.
That will be with disadvantage.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
okay,
Just
so
go
just-
for the elder sign.
Just go for the elder sign.
Alright? You rush, baiting past the skeleton. It reaches out for you as you go past. You may make either a dodge or a fighting check with advantage here, because
Fighting.
it's been hit one time and you've been bought a chance to get
Oh,
past.
yes, you don't have either of those.
I
do
got
you?
none of them.
Alright, you may make a dex check with advantage
That's-
then.
Oh, thank God.
Oh, that is 45. That is a pass.
Okay, just a normal pass, and you may do it again. See
Yeah,
if
do
you
it
get a
again
lower
anyway,
one.
just in case you do better.
48.
So
Yeah,
otherwise,
it's still just a pass. Okay, so he's gonna attack with his claws now, so he gets 2 attacks of that.
good.
The first one is an 87, so you're fine. You managed to get past the first one.
Yeah,
The
but
second
if any
one
of them hits, he's in trouble.
Is 13,
Oh fuck.
which is an extreme
Nice
pass.
knowing you.
My leg, my beautiful leg.
I think your life, your
You reach out to the Elder Sign and you go to run past the skeleton.
My point.
As you go to move past, it slashes out with its left claw. You duck, pushing past it. Then it swipes out with its left claw, digs its claws into your flesh, and you take 4 points of damage.
I'm on -1.
Oh,
yeah, because it's full. It's a major wound,
Yeah.
so you are dead.
yeah.
It digs its claws into your throat, spraying your blood over the pews in front of you, and then it lifts out your esophagus, throwing it on the floor in front of you. Your body gurgles, lets out a death throw,
Once
and
we
then
hardly knew
crumples
you.
to the
Mostly
ground.
because you never actually had a name.
Yes.
M1 is dead. Stand check for the rest of you, please.
I'll be
That's
playing
a
in
first.
That's a
Spirit.
pass.
Oh,
Yeah, well, we're right at the end, so
92.
92. That's a failure. Okay, you just saw another player die. That's a SAN loss of 1d6.
Ooh. That's
Oh no, that's a
six.
6.
Alright,
great.
make an intelligence check.
Oh no. Oh god, his intelligence is 80. If there's ever a time to roll like
so shit.
If there's ever a time to roll like shit, let me guess. No, you don't.
74.
And you passed.
passed,
Fuck.
okay.
He's insane.
Your mind is broken seeing M1, your faithful point man,
Just point.
be reduced to a spray of blood before your eyes.
Gasping.
This is personal. You reach for your trench knife
Oh, Jesus.
fuck.
and
no.
rush at the creature that took his life. Make a fighting check.
Can you rush with a grenade in your hand?
Oh no.
Oh, why would you suggest that?
Because
I've got
like
fighting.
We're
he's
in a
going.
goddamn church in a confined space.
What's that? 12.
Well, you're in luck, I think.
Oh shit.
Yeah. It reaches out to slash you, but you knock its arm out of the way with your trench knife and then plunge it into its bony mass. Roll your damage, please.
And was that a critical?
It was a hard.
It was a hard, so yeah, that's
2.
2. Doubled to 4. 40. 20% chance to destroy, so I'm gonna...
Aw.
Come on, I'm in a church.
Please, if ever there was a time.
You shove in your trench knife. I rolled 5. You slash through its ribs, kick it to the ground, and then bring the butt of your trench knife down, crushing its
Revenge!
defense.
Who said vengeance wasn't holy?
Rico's turn.
So we still have 2 left, do we?
Yep,
Okay, is there now a clear path to that elder sign?
there is.
Well, since I've already noticed him dying going for it, you know
You
what?
did your job.
Your sacrifice is not going to be in vain. I'm going to
He
go over and get
pointed
the
until
elder
the
sign.
end. He took his
He's
point.
literally just pointing like about an inch away from where the elder sign
Yeah.
actually was. So I'm going to go make sure his sacrifice wasn't in vain. I'm going to go get the elder sign.
Scramble over to the elder sign. Okay, as you scramble over to the elder sign, I would like Broden to please do either a fighting or a dodge check.
No, I'd have to do fighting.
Yeah, definitely do fighting.
20.
Damn,
So that's
lovely.
a hard.
That's a hard. Let's see how the skeleton goes.
Bring it.
63, that's not
Oh,
gonna
sweet
do it.
Jesus.
And 71. So you dodge out of the way as it swings towards you and keep your eyes peeled on Rico, using the butt of your rifle to poke the creature away. Rico.
Would that do any damage? Because it was still a fighting check.
Yes, you may actually roll the damage of your bayonet.
Oh, damn. So
bayonet.
1d4 plus 2
plus damage
1.
bonus.
Oh, 1d4 is your damage, but still.
Yeah, 1d4 plus 2 plus damage bonus.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so I've got 2d4s.
Yep, so roll both of those, then 2
4
plus.
4 plus 2, 6.
Ooh, 6.
It's not bad. Not
6, 60,
Take
so
what you can get at this
30%
point.
chance to destroy.
Come on, big money.
Unfortunately, you only managed to push it back from you.
Yeah.
But that's giving you enough time for Rico to get out into the middle of the pew, throw himself onto the floor, gather up the 2 halves of the elder sign, and thrust them together, holding them up in the air towards the creatures. Rico, make a hard power check, please.
Ooh. Can I spend 9 luck points?
Yes, you can.
Damn straight.
Oh, yeah.
So there you go. So that's a pass then.
The thing in your hand vibrates violently.
condemn thee.
Begins to vibrate violently. You struggle to maintain hold of it. Begins to glow, and then suddenly there is a bright flash as a ray of light bursts forth from the elder sign, filling the church. There is an otherworldly scream as the Skeletal creatures crumble, their bones hitting the floor, and as they do so, you feel the Elder Sign crumble to dust in your hand.
I don't suppose you were studying it when we went in. Was
you make
anyone
an-
studying it?
No.
Well, I definitely didn't. I did like the occult checks on it.
Yeah, well, he knew that it was some sort of protective talisman, so...
Yeah, but would you remembered how it went? Like,
Can you do an intelligence check?
No, you wouldn't be able to put it back together like that.
No.
As the bones hit...
Sorry, I didn't mean like put it back together.
Oh,
I mean,
just like how to draw one.
Yeah, draw a new one.
Well, he could draw a new one, but he wouldn't be able to imbue the magic.
Yeah, I
Oh, yeah,
I
that's
know
right.
that.
Yeah,
I got none of that.
Yeah.
Again,
As
just the medic, man.
Yeah.
Damn it, man! I'm a doctor, not an occult man.
As the bones hit the floor, you feel an odd sensation, a low hum, almost too low to be heard, resonates through you all, and your bodies tingle. Your hair stands on end. After a few seconds, bright, swirling spiral patterns appear before
God,
your
not again.
eyes. The unseen enemy are building up another energy vortex
Oh,
here in the church.
no.
And so you must run
Yep.
now.
Yep.
Dex checks, please.
I will do it in spirit.
You're
and I'll
already
contribute
dead.
nothing.
You get nothing.
That is
I
a
got 8.
25, so hard.
21.
21.
So hard.
87.
Oh shit.
Would you like to push it?
Push.
41.
Oh,
Made it.
Wait,
yes.
there he's passed.
Just made it.
Just.
You sprint down the middle, row between the pews, running towards the open doors as the humming grows louder and louder in your ears as the debris begins to once again rise off the floor. Suddenly, you hear an earth-splitting crack as the walls of the church begin to snap under a great weight, and the spiral lights behind you begin to coalesce, the lights forming the form of something vaguely reptilian, starting to gain corporeality here in the church.
Kaiju, isn't it?
You take one last look at it, and then, as the energy ball grows bigger and bigger, and the vibrating grows deafeningly loud, a shockwave of energy surges out and begins to tear the church to pieces. Jump checks, everyone, please.
Maybe
Oh god, I don't have jump.
could I have taught them my jumping skill at some
No.
point?
You have 40 to jump. Oh god, that's
5.
That's
90.
Out of 50.
What
You
do you
may
mean?
push it.
98.
You may push it.
That was a
Oh,
That was a
no.
push. Okay.
My crit wouldn't count for it?
No, because you're both doing it. You're all doing it individually.
Oh, okay.
The hum grows louder and louder, and as you sprint out into the night, suddenly the dark is filled with a blinding flash, and you are lifted off your feet and pulled back towards the church, as if sucked in.
Can I try to grab him?
You can. It's going to be an extreme dex check.
Oh shit! Come on.
Just don't do it, man. I was never gonna make it.
No.
I was never gonna make
You
it.
reach for him, trying to pull him away, but he's just out of reach. You see the bright light of the shockwave surging out towards you. Boomstick and Broden, you manage to hit the dirt as the shockwave sails over above you. Rico is not so lucky and takes
it's gonna be interesting.
Be nice.
4 points of damage.
I'm still alive,
Holy
bitches!
shit!
Still alive! Not by much, but fuck it.
3?
3.
The shockwave hits you, blasting you through the air, singeing your skin. And then you all land in a heap as a deep rumble subsides, a sound no louder than distant thunder. Where the church once stood, only a patch of ruined, steaming, greyish ash remains. The blue light of the jewel that the priest placed in Broden's hand slowly fades, leaving you alone as the morning sun begins to slowly rise over the horizon. End of part 1.
Ow.
Mother. Thank you, you asshole.
Well, that's what
So
happens when you...
have we still got the stuff the priest shoved in?
Yes,
our-
you've still got the books and the crystal.
Look on the bright side, the only person we lost was the nameless red shirt guy.
Yes, you nearly lost Rico.
Yeah, damn near. I have major wound, 3 health. That's okay, because I still got hit by head and I'm just roll over and start
Alright,
catching
for shits
myself.
and giggles, if we didn't throw those grenades in the
Yeah.
How many?
how many?
8.
Joe!
8.
Oh no.
Turn on that bombshell. Well, that was good.
Oh, yeah, 1 death out of 4. Not bad, not
Something
bad.
that was designed to kill everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how it was designed is that out of a group of 6, 4 would make it out. So,
No.
roughly it did roughly it did what it was supposed to. The second half is meant to be the one where, it's meat grinder time. But you made it through the first half,
Yay!
and...
Stick a bone.
Go on in a second.
Yeah,
I'm
let's
gonna
Yeah.
strap it to me just in case. If I get down below 5 HP, I'm gonna charge.
Yeah,
So-
okay. Good for us.
As a reward for passing this half, you
Alright.
each gain 1d6 Sam.
Hooray!
How much HP?
Oh, come on!
6.
3.
Okay, you may do a luck check,
My
and
sands.
if you fail, if you may do a luck check. If you fail, you gain 1d10 luck. If your luck is lower than 10, which yours is, Trav,
I'm on 0.
you gain
And that's a fail.
you gain 3d10 luck.
3d10.
So you get 1d10 unless your luck is below 10, in which case you gain 3d10.
Well, it's back up to 35. It's not great, but...
3. And 2.
11. Well, that may come in handy.
Something. Yeah, some luck.
Please tell me we get some
Now-
rewards.
Nope.
Nope.
Did I happen to regain my shotgun?
No, you've got all your weapons on you. You didn't drop any
Most of the big
weapons.
parts.
I just heard
And
that when I
yeah.
charged.
so that was part 1 of No Man's Land, and for everyone listening, we hope you enjoyed this thrilling scenario, and we hope you will listen to part 2 called Against the Starspawn. And for you, that will be available right now, but for us, it's going to be tomorrow. So thank you everyone for listening, and we hope you'll join us in the next episode. Bye!
Well,
Yeah.